Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Winter finals will be here before you know it, and there's still a need for registered officials. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Welcome to 2023 as we pick up our winter sports season already in progress. While it seems like the fall season just wrapped up, winter championships will be here soon. So let's get you caught up on the whens and wheres for each of our sports. First is the Upper Peninsula Swimming and Diving Finals for both boys and girls on February 18th. And then it's on to Team Wrestling Finals on February 24th and 25th in Kalamazoo. And that's followed by Boys and Girls Skiing Finals February 27th. March is when the schedule really heats up. The competitive cheer finals will be March 2nd and 3rd this year, and those will be held at the McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. Girls and boys bowling finals will be held March 3rd and 4th, the same weekend as individual wrestling finals at Ford Field. Ice hockey drops the puck March 9th through 11th for semifinals and finals at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. Gymnastics finals are that weekend as well. Those will be held at Lakeland High School. And the Lower Peninsula Boys Swimming and Diving finals are also March 10th and 11th. Girls basketball invades the Breslin Center on March 16th for the start of 3 days of semifinals and finals action. Champions will be crowned on Saturday, March 18th. And then the boys move in the next weekend. Semifinal play starts March 23rd, and all four finals will be Saturday, March 25th. Both boys and girls basketball finals will be carried live on Bally Sports Detroit. For schedules, pairings, brackets, tickets, and streaming information, the best place to go is to the newly redesigned MHSAA.com. Everything that you need for our winter finals can be found there. Game balls this week go to Belding junior wrestler Jack Ward. He notched career win number 100 over the break, joining his older brother Mitchell and his dad/coach Art as 100-match winners at Belding. To Bedford's Victoria Gray, she scored 25 points in a 9-point win over South Lyon East in the Airport Showcase. Bedford is off to a 7-0 start this year in girls basketball. And to Montebello senior J.T. Smith. He went over the 1,000 career points mark in a win over St. Charles.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
If you've seen the movie Hoosiers, you know that a basketball rim is 10 feet above the ground. That's the same if you're in the gym at Beaver Island High School or at Little Caesars Arena. But what are the other court dimensions? To start, courts are typically 84 feet long, but can be up to 94 feet long. They're also 50 feet wide. The free throw line is 15 feet from the face of the backboard, and the high school three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches from the basket. Each hoop is a circle, 18 inches in diameter. The boys play with a basketball 29.5 inches in circumference. The girls play with one at 28.5 inches in circumference. And believe it or not, 2 girl balls will go through a standard rim at the same time.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Sticking with officiating, since 2020, the number of registered officials in Michigan has fallen from more than 9,000 to less than 8,000. It's a dip that puts extra strain on our current officials. But for the fall 2022 season, the number of registered officials is more in line with where we were pre-pandemic, and things seem to be slowly trending up. The MHSAA has increased pay for postseason games and provided membership in the National Association of Sports Officials. Membership gives officials expanded insurance coverages, access to professional services and development, and a subscription to an MHSAA-focused referee magazine. But there's still a need for more. If you are interested, go to MHSAA.com and click on Officials for more information. Because without officials, it's just practice. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Lob to head over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket, elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryan's Vanderjack up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point. Rosema, innocent space. Shot scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line, giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. And hello, everyone, and welcome to game night, and welcome to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer and the prodigal son has returned. Chandler Timmer finally rejoins me here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. First doubleheader of 2023 and of the season here at Vanderslice Gymnasium CT, and it's a good one. Grandville and East Kentwood, of course. It's always a pair of high-flying, high-octane East Kentwood teams that come to town. We know what Grandville does. Kind of both teams a little bit more grinding on the Grandville side as well. It's a really interesting night of basketball and a very critical night, especially on the boys' side already in OK Red play.
Yeah, as we start to move into the OK Red season here, the Falcons always bring so much energy like you talked about, and it's always a great test early on for the Bulldogs to kind of see where they're at. You've had a couple conference games, kind of these teams start to figure out where they're at and where they're going to line up, and the Falcons always going to be a test both on the boys and girls side.
Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show, and we do have a little bit of an announcement, I guess you can, so to speak, here tonight. Of course, many of you may watch through the NFHS network, but if you're tuned in early through the Michigan Game Night feed, we have a camera. And that is going to be a little bit of trial and error tonight, I'm not going to lie. CT is going to go from, I mean, he's the most all-around color guy in the world. He's a color guy for me. He does stats. And now today he's going to be camera op as well, which this is a camera that we're hoping it's going to be a little bit movable on its own. It has some of the huddle cam technologies that different gyms and so forth have, and it should be able to track a little bit, but we're kind of going to be learning on the fly some of the different things it can do. Camera might just have to get set in the corner and stay there, and we'll kind of see where it's going, CT, but he is going to, I'm like how I'm blaming it on you.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to blame it on him if it goes bad. That's really the job of myself. I think yeah. I want to give you the credit.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah,
so
things go smoothly, then it's me. But
right, of course. Except for it was my idea to get the camera on the
Yeah.
game, so then I'm just going to take the credit for it.
There
so
we
then
go.
you're whatever.
Yep, you've got it set up well.
You got it. Granville, East Kentwood. All right, CT, so this game, let's talk about some basketball. That's what people actually want us to talk about. This East Kentwood team, coming off a tough loss against Rockford, 40-28. I mean, really incredible what Rockford did defensively. Of course, both teams press and play some really solid defense in that regard. But this is a team that's going to be hungry. They're going to be pushing. They've lost some of the talented pieces they've had in past years, but they do return quite a bit more. I mean, tell us some of the things you can expect of this East Kentwood girls team, because we've seen it under Coach Large for several years. I mean, you know what this team brings to the table in terms of the way they push the pace, the way they create havoc for the other team and even for themselves sometimes, and that's really where it's going to start with this game, is watching what East Kentwood does as a basketball team.
Yeah, I think for a couple years now, the Falcons girls basketball team has been something pretty special when you look at the speed at which they play it, but they also brought tremendous size for a lot of years when they were at their peak, and kind of that blend made them a very formidable opponent and had them at the top of the OK Red, and they're still a tremendously talented team. They've got a lot of depth, maybe not quite as much as years past, but still multiple players that they can run, and they can go up-tempo. They can force into a lot of mistakes with their pressure and still run that base system.
I'll do a little bit of your role and try to supply some color for the Grandville girls, because I have been able to see them so far this year. You have not as of yet this year. This is an improved team from what we've seen in past years. I think Coach Karpowitz is building a team that some may say with some of their youth and they might still be a year-ish away, but I think they're ready to start creating some havoc and knocking off some even top-type teams, maybe like East Kentwood, in the Oak Red. Now, with that said, 6-3 in the year, they are 0-2 in the red. So the loss to Caledonia maybe knocks you off that a little bit, but also I think Caledonia is a much improved team this season. They competed with West Ottawa. West Ottawa beat Hudsonville, so I think you can see a little bit of where that's going. I think the one thing about this team in years past is they've struggled somewhat against pressing teams and when havoc is created, and the same could be said a little bit for what West Ottawa did, and I would assume a little bit for what Caledonia, therefore, did in that game. But what you do have is a ton. Look at McKellar, Rakowski, and Fisher on down the list. 3-4-year, junior, senior guards now, continuing to come of age a little bit, come more into confidence, I think, in their game. That's critical because when East Kentwood starts blitzing everyone at you, an all-out 1-2-1-1 or full-court man-type press, you need that kind of confidence and solid ball handling. They have that this year to maybe be able to turn up the wick a little bit themselves and counter that pressure versus maybe having to turtle a little bit like they have in years past.
Yeah, huge in a matchup like tonight when, for the last couple of years, the Bulldogs have been building, having some younger players on the team. They've got that experience of faced similar matchups against these exact teams in years past and have gone through that, and whether that was resulting in some losses for the Bulldogs or whether they were competing in it. But, now you turn to a season like this where they're looking to take that next step. You're playing some tough games and against some tough opponents like West Ottawa where you're in a game, and now you can take that experience when you've got your ball handlers, your guards that are now juniors and seniors, upperclassmen. With that experience is when now you look to do some damage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is 100% the case, I think, with this team. And again, the big note I look at with Grandville is what they did against West Ottawa, who we know how good West Ottawa is already this year and how good they are going to continue to be throughout the season. That was not me running the camera. That was Chandler. That definitely was not me trying to do that. But CT, the pressure that West Ottawa brings to the table, they're able to handle it. It's going to start with McKellar and Rakowski in the backcourt, and we've seen these two players for 3-4 years now for the Bulldogs. McKellar has turned into a really solid scorer at 15 points against Kentwood Hills. Rakowski, though, is an interesting player in terms of, I think, if there's one player the Bulldogs have that can maybe equally turn up the wick the way that East Kentwood does, she might be the one to kind of help be able to do that. McKellar's going to help keep things calm, but Rakowski's the one that has an ability maybe to turn up the wick, like I said, a little bit, and match fire with fire and match some of that intensity that players like Belton and Tyler are going to bring for EK.
Yeah, I think it could really work to kind of balance things out when you've got players that you've got a guard who can handle the basketball, who's comfortable slowing things down, can keep you under control and not turning the basketball over, and you've also got a ball handler that if you're going to be forced to go up tempo is comfortable making plays at a high speed. So you've kind of got both of those options. You can go mix your speed a little bit depending on who's handling the basketball and what East Kentwood's throwing at you, but you can have ball handlers who are comfortable doing both, whether that's making the right pass and slowing things down, not pushing it too much, or if you're getting out and running and having those opportunities, you've got that ability as well.
And Grandville can go faster than in years past, but we certainly aren't talking about them trying to run. They still want this game to be more half-court. It's more about beating the press and then being able to set up, take some time off the clock, get a good shot if you're able to set up a half-court type of offense. Look at East Kentwood again. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show, continuing to roll on here for Grandville EK. The girls up first. Kenila Tyler, Harmony Belton, athletic, aggressive backcourt. They push the pace. Look at Tiana Day as kind of a guard and a wing as well that they bring to that. That's going to be the main thing about Coach Large's team. This is an aggressive team in the press. It isn't necessarily your finesse trapping team. They're willing to get a little physical, a little in your face, a little bit like what their boys team are going to do. Coach Thomas's boys are going to be in your grill for 94 feet for 32 minutes for the Bulldogs tonight, so make sure you stay tuned to that. It's going to be a really interesting contrast of styles. But the same can be said in this game. They're in your face the whole game. They're pressuring. Their backcourt, they have that mean streak to them. Every single East Kentwood backcourt for the last several years under Coach Large have had that mean streak, and it makes them that much tougher to play against, especially when things are going well for them.
Yeah, you need that to run a defense like that. Multiple players that are willing to go all out the entire time they're on the court. Yeah, you can get some breathers here and there, but when they're not going to be on the floor that they're going to be given 110%. And you've got multiple playmakers, players that can jump in and steal the basketball and turn that into points going the other way because they're comfortable going coast to coast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And It's a guard-heavy lineup, of course, that I think East Kentwood brings to the table because that's the interesting thing about them is they are smaller than they've been in years past, and that does change things a little bit. It may give an advantage to the Bulldogs in some ways in the post and on the wing. You look at Sydney Highboard, you look at Tessa Gregor, they're going to be bigger than a lot of the pieces that East Kentwood normally is able to throw at the Bulldog, is able to throw at the Bulldogs, and I think that could be the one unique thing, and it might be back to the Bulldogs looking to slow it down, looking to get it more half-court, because there may be, in the half-court, when you're grinding the game, a post advantage that the Bulldogs have tonight that they haven't had in past years against EK.
Yeah, something they're going to have to try to utilize as much as they can. As you talked about, the Bulldogs and Falcons matching up in previous years, what made it so difficult is we just talked about how the Falcons like to turn up the speed and have guards who can handle the basketball and really force you into mistakes, but they also had tremendous post players with size that could clog up the lane as well, and they could get the basketball too. So you're really looking, where can we try to find a matchup, and it was very difficult. But the Bulldogs have some size tonight that they haven't had over the Falcons in years past. That we'll see if they're able to force the basketball down there and use that to their advantage.
All right, a lot more to get to still here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Thanks, Scott. Thanks to Centennial Securities for their presenting sponsorship here with Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer and Chandler Timmer. Big night of basketball. Big night for MGN as well, as we're breaking out some video coverage here tonight for the doubleheader, and that means I also, right there, we're adding all these little elements in terms of being a producer, too. We can go back and forth and all these little things. Again, it is our true goal to be, not to mean this in a cocky manner, but we want to be the best coverage that you're going to find in West Michigan and you might find in the state of Michigan when we're doing something. And, of course, NFHS network schools like Grandville, we're plugged in the NFHS network tonight as well, but schools like this where we have the opportunity to do video and to add on to the coverage, I think we want to always continue to add on, and all part of the selling point and some of the things we're trying to do. So, excited. Hopefully it works. If the stream goes down on me, that'll be a really happy moment for all of us, but at least we'll be able to go back to our normal enhanced radio coverage that we bring to the table. Thanks to everyone that's supported Game Night as we continue to kind of add on to some new things. Great night tonight, Grandville and East Kentwood. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agents pregame show. We'll be right back.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and
FINRA. Can you name the 10
FINRA.
winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car. Hey, my car! And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
And welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. You're looking live at Vanderslice Gymnasium here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Grandville girls continuing their warm-ups right now in this one, CT. And, you look at this East Kentwood team. The other thing that's a little bit different about them than I think some of what they have been in years past is they aren't quite as deep. This is a team that's probably going to be more 7, 8 deep. That could also, of course, impact a little bit of the pace of this game. I think everything is really pointing towards this game being a little bit more slow compared to what we've ever seen with EK, and a little bit more defensive-minded and half-court-minded, possibly. I may also be completely thrown off on that assumption, but EK has kind of struggled to score a little bit themselves, too, so I'm not sure it's going to be as much of a run-and-gun game as what we've seen in years past.
Yeah, I think when you start to look at the rotation that they've utilized at this point in the season, I mean, they've still, as you said, got 7 or 8 deep that they're willing to go, which is still a good rotation for them, that they can push things and run some of their pressures that we've seen in years past, but definitely not to the numbers where you're going to be running the entire time. You're going to run yourself into the ground pretty quickly doing that. And so I think still going to run their system that they have for years in terms of pushing it like that. But I think you maybe slow things down just a little bit, trying to preserve yourself throughout the game when you've got a rotation like that.
Yeah, and the one thing is East Kentwood comes in hungry. I mean, again, they're coming off balance as well. They only scored 28 against Rockford. I think that has more to do with the Rams and a team that I believe is going to be back at the Breslin Center this year like they were a year ago. So it has a lot to do with them, but it also has a lot to do with, this offense did lose some of their scoring on the wing. That's the one thing this team always has. They have a ton of wing scoring, especially wing shooting that they can bring to the table. I don't know if they have quite as much of that as in years past, so they're going to have to be able to score. And this is where them maybe wanting to run comes into play. They're going to want to be looking to score on the break and in transition off of steals maybe more than in years past. So we talk about how the game might be slower, but also when you look at how the roster's made up, it's actually probably the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's kind of where the question mark comes in, and we'll find out soon enough. But I think when you've got multiple guards that can handle the basketball on the open floor, yeah, you can look to push it when you can, but I think that's going to be the missing piece, or the piece that they're still trying to find that's going to take them to the next level for the Falcons is that wing or guard that's willing to attack the basket in the half court, that can make those plays when they need a basket and they need someone to be aggressive. Who's it going to be?
And, for East Kentwood 1-1 in the OK Red, they're trying to stay in it. Both of these conferences are very good, but in particular, of course, we've talked about it for years. The girls' side of the OK Red in basketball might be the best girls basketball conference in the state of Michigan. And this year it's going to be a little bit of everyone chasing Rockford, I think, is just where it's at. Tonight Hudsonville has a chance to maybe make a statement in that game, but we've already seen West Ottawa in overtime beat Hudsonville. So the importance of this game for an early season or early conference season clash, a mid-January clash, is probably just as important or more important than what we've seen in some of the last few years.
Yeah, I think when you look at what the OK Red has been throughout the course of the last couple seasons, when you've got teams like Hudsonville that are right in the state championship games, you've got what Rockford has become, and even West Ottawa now, and that's not even getting into the middle part of the OK Red. That's still very difficult. It's important when you've got games like this where you've got two teams that are similar in terms of record and where they've been throughout the standings, that you're able to pick up some momentum early on in the season, and then you kind of build as you go towards some of those bigger teams that are looming later on.
Look at some X factors in this game. I think Chandler, the first one that you're going to have to look at for the Bulldogs, I think, is Tessa Gregoire. I think the junior wing has a really good chance to come out both inside and out as a scorer. I think a lot of attention will be put on the Bulldog guards, and she may be given some opportunities, and the same then maybe given a high board playing more of the traditional 5. She may be as a second player in the post and also shooting on the wing. Had some good scoring to open up the West Ottawa game. I think she's really one to watch when you're looking at mismatches in this game.
Yeah, I think we talked about the size a little bit early on, an advantage potentially there if the Bulldogs can find her. But as you talked about, when you've got guards, if they can handle the pressure and keep their eyes down the floor, you've got those passes potentially down the floor where you can find players like Gregoire underneath the basket and hopefully turn the pressure against the Falcons.
All right, both teams are turning towards their benches as we get closer to the national anthem. In this one, CT, look at East Kentwood again. Their X factors, I think, is going to be their depth and their bench players like Javen Montgomery, Kyria Banks, because it's when they bring that second wave at you, can they continue to hit the way the first wave did? That's how East Kentwood has won so many games in the past.
Yeah, when you've got a rotation where you don't have much drop-off, when you've got multiple players that can fulfill roles for you in terms of creating havoc against the other team, and you don't need a certain matchup to go your way when you've got flexibility in terms of who you can have out there and what matchup, definitely allows the Falcons an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely that is the case. See Coach Karpowitz getting some coaching in with her team while East Kentwood continues under the watch of their head coach, Eric Large, on their side of the floor to finish off their warm-ups inside the final minute. Going to be a really fascinating game. I think a lot have maybe written this game off as a game that East Kentwood probably and should be heavily favored in. But watch out for the Bulldogs. What they did against West Ottawa in the first meeting of those two teams back in the first game of the year, and now coming into this contest, I think they have a chance to really do some unique things. All right, that will do it for the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. We've got a lot to get to tonight. What a night of basketball it is. Grandville, East Kentwood here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Do not go anywhere.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timber with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio, and we are just about ready to go. First half of the doubleheader tonight on MGN. It is East Kentwood and Grandville this evening. Head coach Eric Large commands the bench for the East Kentwood Falcons, 5-3 on this early season. The Falcons will be starting the junior guard, Harmony Belton. Also in the backcourt, they'll have the junior guard, Kenila Tyler. The junior forward, Santana Eubanks, gets the start, along with the junior guard, Michaela Porter, and the senior wing, Tiana Day. For the Bulldogs, home white uniforms, as you can see tonight on our broadcast camera. I can cut that out of my call this evening. The Bulldogs will start the junior guard, 5'5", Gracie Rakowski. In the backcourt alongside the senior guard, Olivia McKellar, and the senior guard, Anaya Fisher. Up front, the Bulldogs have the senior center, Sydney Hybor, and the junior forward and wing, Tessa Gregoire. Gets the start for the Bulldogs. All right, CT. Warm-ups or introductions continuing. Actually, one slight adjustment to the East Kentwood lineup actually last minute. Kyria Banks, senior forward, actually will be getting the start for EK in this game. Again, EK, we mentioned they may not be as deep as past East Kentwood teams, maybe more 7-8 deep in terms of how they may rotate, but the one thing about them is all those 7-8 players are starter caliber, and that's going to be one of the critical things to watch out for certain with the way that they're going to try to roll out of the gates in this one. Be interesting to watch the pace, of course, Chandler. Be interesting just to watch everything. It's going to be a critical, we say this all the time, especially for basketball games, but first couple of minutes going to be really interesting in this one.
Yeah, Will, I think we raised some of the questions and what East Kentwood could choose to do with the pressure that they're going to bring. If they're going to be full speed ahead from the jump, or whether they're going to ease into things a little bit with that shorter rotation.
All right, here we go. 8 minutes up on the board. Friday night doubleheader, first one of the year here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. First one of the season, even for the 2020-2023 campaign. Bulldogs 6-3, East Kentwood 5-3 on the season, and we're ready to go. The jump will be Eubanks and Highboard. Give a couple inches. Greg, we're going to take the jump. Give a couple inches to Greg. We're on the jump. All right. Ready to rock and roll here on game night. Can be a really, really fun night. Make sure you stay with us and stay with Michigan Sports Radio in general all night long. Rockford, Hudsonville, ton of other good games across the network this evening. One quick delay as the official goes over to talk to Coach Large. We have an official late coming on the floor. Now we're going to be able to get this one underway. Gregor, Santana, Eubanks on the jump. Pair of juniors. Ball up. And East Kentwood will initially control that tip. Scrum for the basketball. Held ball 5 seconds in. And we are just about ready to, let's try to get it underway one more time. And we'll jump one more time. Gregor, Eubanks on the jump. Home whites for the Bulldogs, traveling red for East Kentwood. Gregor tips it straight back in. Rakowski has the control. Here we go. She'll call out the set and get it going. It's a horn set, top of the key. Screen from Highboard. Feed corner, McKellar. McKellar jabbing and working, defended by Tiana Day. Driving on the lane, stops in a travel as she shuffled the feet on the stop. And it'll be East Kentwood basketball here. Falcons started with junior point guard Harmony Belton. Seen her for a couple of seasons running the offense here. Swings left wing to Eubanks. Eubanks drives top of the key, down the right side of the lane. A runner misses everything strong off the window. And the board down to McKellar, and the Bulldogs will slow the game down just a little bit. Right corner to Gregor. Gregor top of the key to Fisher. Fisher pass to the corner and McKellar. McKellar to set the offense, working against some pressure, and kicks top of the key. East Kentwood trying to jump that passing lane. That was Belton getting in there as Rakowski goes behind the back and drives. Jump pass corner. Gregor with space. Tries a three from the corner. Misses strong. Rebound Rakowski down low. Ripped and stolen by Tiana Day. She'll run with it. First minute gone. Day to the basket. Loops up the layup and got it to go. Good work from Tiana Day. Able to score, and immediately that press gets set up. A diamond in one press on the setup. Fisher, trap backcourt, throws McKellar, poked away, stolen by Eubanks. Eubanks to the basket, runner, no good, too strong, put back Belton, high arcing little short shot able to go, and the East Kentwood pressure right away. CT stays on right here.
Able to get a turnover in the backcourt there and quickly turn it into a 3-on-1 and an easy basket.
Rakowski no look to Highboard. Highboard looking to back in on Banks. It'll find Fisher in the wing. Fisher down low looking for Gregor. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs down low here. 6:17 to go in the first quarter. 4-0. Early lead for EK. Belton Day have each found the score sheet for the Falcons. Rakowski to throw in baseline right. Lobs for McKellar. Defended by Day. There's Fisher dumping back onto McKellar in the wing. Bulldogs working, as you'd expect, slowly here against the switching high-pressure man defense for East Kentwood. Pass from Fisher, straight stolen away on the leap by Eubanks, and East Kentwood to run down the floor. Charging into the lane with the right-hand shot, Porter. Foul called on Highboard, and Porter will go to the line and shoot a couple right here for the Falcons. So Porter and Banks up front for EK. In the backcourt, Day, Belton, and then Eubanks on the wing. Michaela Porter, junior, wing, will go to work. First 2 minutes gone. That one rattles home for Michaela Porter. She gets on the score sheet with her first. Second one rattles home. Porter goes 2 for 2 at the line, and right away that pressure comes right back out, and that's going to be a turnover. On the exchange there, Gregor kind of handed off to Rakowski, still out of bounds. The pressure wreaking havoc right now, CT.
Yeah, just having trouble even getting the basketball in bounds right now.
Belton lobs. Secured, and Porter will start the offense. Highboard up top defending. Swung to Belton. Belton jabs and works. Kicks up top for Banks. Travel called, and it'll go back the other way with the Bulldogs. 5:45 in the first. 6-0. And Coach Karpowitz will go to the bench. Kylie DeVries checks in along with Emma Perez as both of the starting forwards, Highbor and Gregor, go to the bench. And that EK Diamond 1 press is set up. Fisher beats the pressure. Here's Perez. Grabbed and fouled from behind by Kyria Banks. First foul of the game on EK. They lead at 6-0 with a little over 5.5 to go in the first. Doubleheader underway here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. High pressure into a trap. It's Perez, and a foul going to be called on Tiana Day as EK continues to turn up the wick a little bit more almost each possession, it feels like, Chandler.
Yeah, I think they've been easing into it just a little bit. They show some pressure, but then as soon as the basketball inbounds, they're there and in your face.
McKellar to skip it into Rakowski through a pair of defenders. Boston regathers, wild shot, good, and a foul. What work by Rakowski, able to fling it up from the hip with the left and score. And now Rakowski goes to the line looking for one more. I think her ability to drive the lane to make those kind of shots going to be critical this evening.
Yeah, she's the player that could potentially neutralize what the Falcons are doing with the pressure. When she's able to make some plays there, when they get numbers and get the basketball inbounds, she can quickly attack.
Free throw's good. Banks is off the floor off her second foul there. Tyler in her place, and Belton going to run the offense. Kicks to the wing. 3 on the way. Misses everything short from Michaela Porter. Rebound, Rakowski to run with it. Rakowski, crossover in the lane, lost the handle. Gathered by McKellar, ripping and turning against the pressure, and a foul on EK. 5:11 to go in the first, 6-3. And that now is team foul number 4 on East Kentwood in the first on Tiana Day. So if nothing else, the pressure is going to have the Bulldogs shooting free throws by like the 4-minute mark of the first quarter right now. Rakowski for Perez, out of her reach and chased down by Michaela Porter. Porter with numbers down the floor for EK to the basket. Left-hand shot reaching around McKellar. Good. Porter with 4. And the Bulldogs will inbound. First 3 minutes gone. 8-3 start for the East Kentwood girls in this one right now. Actually, it's going to be East Kentwood basketball on the turnover. Swung around to Tyler up top. McKellar checking defensively. Tyler pass, poked out of bounds. It'll go the Bulldogs' direction. Belton up top. Rakowski checking on to Tyler. Tyler, dribble drive, floater, rattles out, no good. Rebound down to Rakowski. She'll set it up. We're going to back the camera off just to do a little bit of our director call on there, but we'll back the camera off so you can at least get the full court right now, and Chandler can actually watch the game and hopefully be able to know a little bit what's going on versus just focused on the camera, because I hate running the camera. I'm not doing it for certain. Here's Perez in the double team trap. Feeds somehow to Rakowski in the corner. She's trapped immediately as well. All that pressure coming from Santana Eubanks stays with the Bulldogs, but the intensity up to 11 right now, especially this half-court trapping defense for EK.
A couple double teams there, able to survive it in the corner there and at least get the basketball out of bounds.
Fisher for McKellar on the no-look. Olivia McKellar, float in the lane, blocked to the right hand in the reach of Tyler. East Kentwood to run, and a travel is called. She started up between a pair of Bulldog defenders, and the Dogs take back over in the front court. It's the one thing that can kind of come back to haunt East Kentwood sometimes is the pace that they're going to run at themselves. Perez will check out. We'll see Allison Dowlett, junior guard, check on for the first time this evening for the Bulldogs.
Rakowski able to, as she was retreating to get back on defense, get in the face enough to force the travel and a second thought before putting the basketball on the floor.
Tyler Crouch defending the driving. McKellar, handoff, DeVries misses. And Fisher will get the board and reset the offense. Tiana Day, the defense, jump stop in the lane in the wild. Opportunity is lost, and East Kentwood will take back over. Again, the Falcons like to run a little bit more half-court offensively after they're able to get the ball. Belton jumps for Day. 3:51 to go in the first. 8-3, the early lead for East Kentwood. Drive from Day. Blocked and a rebound down to Anaya Fisher. Fisher looming large in the paint right there on the defense. Again, the Bulldogs able to go with a little bit smaller, more athletic lineup sometimes with some of what EK does. Rakowski, no-look feed. DeVries through some tight defense and maybe with some contact from Eubanks. Can't get it to go. And Tyler the basketball and the run. Porter, the early scoring leader in this one. She's got 4. Belton Mid-range, Johnny Eubanks drives off the pull-up fake. Wild shot, yes, and a foul. Tough work from Santana Eubanks, and the senior forward goes to the line. Chandler?
Eubanks with a nice move, lowers the shoulder like she's going to drive through the middle of the lane, and then once she gets bumped, able to fade away and get that tough floater leaning back.
3:17 in the first. Fisher will take a seat. McKellar picks up her first foul there, second on the Bulldogs. Free throw, no good. Three-point play not completed. And Rakowski, the board. Everything is pressured until right now, as Rakowski will be able to take it out. And East Kentwood sets up a trapping 2-3 zone. Swung to the corner. Dowd with space three. No. Rebound through the hands of DeVries. Poked baseline on the high board. Show score. Good work on the second or third effort as we see EK make the adjustment, go zone for the first time. You wonder when the Bulldogs may answer with a zone of their own. It's a counter. Here's Day in the wing. Well, here it is. Day working at the elbow. Bulldogs trapping and moving in, top of the key, out of a zone of their own here. Travel called on Eubanks. So both teams changed up their defensive look on that possession. Game goes a little bit more half court as we see the zone for each. Wozniak checks in along with Desiree Roberts for East Kentwood, as we see again Coach Large going really more in the 8-9 deep realm right now early in this contest against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, really on the advantage to the zone defense, benefiting the Bulldogs offensively. Getting an offensive rebound off the miss and a putback for a bucket, and then defensively forcing another travel and a turnover.
Extended trapping 2-3 zone, similar to what West Ottawa utilized Friday against the Bulldogs, and they had a lot of issues against it. Dowd to Highbore. Nice move, but a travel in the lane, and it'll be East Kentwood basketball. I mean, again, when you see the zone set up, some decent ball movement, the Bulldogs get a little bit better look at that than when East Kentwood was full-on pressuring. Belton stutters and skips to Wozniak into the lane. Lost the handle, foul called. And a game we expected to be physical, full court and grinding. A lot of foul calls going to plague this one. And that style of game will be interesting. It definitely is going to slow down East Kentwood from being able to run full court. Probably part of why they started thinking about going zone. Foul on DeVries is her first and the third on the Bulldogs. Belton lobs for Day. DeVries the defense. The Bulldogs here kind of matchup zone type look. It's a 2-3 zone. They get the switch right there. Hand off from the wing for Wozniak. Now it's Porter. On the handoff for Robertson. Back to Belton. Off the weave. Into the lane. Floater good. Nice move by Harmony Belton. She has 4, and that's how you do it. You work the ball against the zone and eventually able to find the slashing guard for 2.
Yeah, able to break through from the wing, that get into the lane, and then rather than driving all the way to the basket, pull up and get the float shot to go in.
Down in the wing against the trap. Skips to DeVries. And some havoc caused there by the aggressive trapping zone. And EK takes back over. 12-5 Falcons with 1:37 in the first. Right now in this one. Game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Thanks to Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities for their support of MGN. And MGN's first ever, at least at Grandville, video broadcast this evening. Into the lane. Belton left-hand shot with pace scores. She has 6. And the Falcons go up 14-5.
A couple times now the Falcons just able to quickly attack the primary ball handlers. They bring the ball up the floor, has a lane to drive, and they take it.
Keller fouled in that trap, so aggressive the way they're working the top of that 2-3 zone. 15 foul on EK. Granville goes to the 4-guard lineup as Fisher will come in for DeVries right here off the first foul of the day for Sophia Wozniak. McKellar for Rakowski with space triple try. Misses it all strong. Porter chases it down. And EK at first looking to run a little bit, but able to slow down Porter here into the half court. Porter for Belton. Bulldogs working a little bit less aggressive, trapping zone of their own. 3 from the wing, no. Rebound Porter into the lane, off balance, defended by Highbore on the board to McKellar. Final 43 seconds of the first. East Kentwood by 9 in the early stages. They go back more man-to-man here. They trap off of it. Dowd in the corner. Swung to Fisher. The Bulldog probably top 3-point threat Fisher if they can get her working, especially against the zone. Here's McKellar facing up, driving into the lane, feeds for Dowd. Or for Rakowski, I should say. Rakowski looking for Dowd. Escapes her grasp on some miscommunication. EK takes over. Saleha Stevenson checks in, and Michaela Crosby checks in. So everything we told you about they're only going to probably be 6 or 7, maybe 8 deep is completely wrong, as Coach Large going really deep early, especially to get some extra rest out there. Crosby, the freshman guard, run the offense to the final 15 seconds. Here's Belton, who despite all the changes has not left the floor for EK. Swung wing Wozniak. Driving is Roberts. Stolen by McKellar. Final 3 seconds. McKellar from half court splits the pressure and fouled from behind, and not a foul. I think Coach Large is going to be very happy about. That's Wozniak that came in on the reach right there, and that will end the first quarter of play. 14-5, EK after 1. We'll be right back here from Grandville.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here. Game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Second quarter on deck, 14-5. East Kentwood leading Grandville after first frame of play in CT. I think a game of 2 parts. It was the high pressure from East Kentwood that I'm a little surprised they kind of went away from for how effective it seemed to be. Maybe it was more of just saving bodies a little bit, even though they were willing to go fairly deep. And then a second half of the quarter that was far more zone-based, far more half-court-based for both teams. Curious to see what we have going forward.
Yeah, I think early on the Falcons got some turnovers and got some points in the fast break. But I think some of the fouls early on, just trying to save themselves from getting into serious foul trouble, going into more of a zone and half-court look, and they were able to grow their lead that way as well.
Bulldogs aggressively trapping into the lane. Eubanks. Foul is on the floor before Eubanks was able to fling it up down low. Right now, all scores led by Harmony Belton, the junior guard, with 6. And we've seen, Belton on and off ball creator. We haven't really seen her shoot the ball, but especially has slashed effectively from the wing. 7:49 in the first. Belton defended by Olivia McKellar. Gets a start again. This kind of 2-3 trapping zone, kind of a matchup zone look the Bulldogs are going to utilize here. Something we saw them use quite a bit last year. From the wing, Stevenson thought about the 3, but the thought wound up leading to the travel, and the Bulldogs take back over. Good defensive possessions. They throw that little kind of mixed up zone at them.
Yeah, the Bulldogs have been able to force the Falcons into a couple of travels now. That time, the late closeout by McKellar are able to get into the face and force the second thought.
Fisher for Dallett. McKellar was spaced. The triple, good. Turns the net inside out. Olivia McKellar on the board with 3. And the Bulldogs close the advantage to 14-8. And that trapping zone back out. Tip past McKellar. Chased down along the out-of-bound line by Crosby. And now a steal for Rakowski. Zone continues to work. Rakowski splits the pressure and stolen from behind by Roberts. Fed on to the freshman Crosby. To the basket. Pressured and knocked into a little bit from behind. No foul called on that one. Highbore. Exit pass, Rakowski with numbers, chasing the basket along with Fisher. Steal for Harmony Belton will go back the other way. Turnover after turnover. Belton tries in the full court and scores coast to coast. Belton now with 8, and EK doubles the Bulldogs back up 16-8. Wild sequence right there. And again, that's not what Grandville wants to get into.
No, I don't think so. I think both teams got caught there on the other side of the floor. Most of the team underneath the basket as they were going the other direction. The Bulldogs didn't capitalize. Led to a chance for Belton going back the other way.
Rakowski out of the runner, sent down to the floor and tipped out of bounds off of Stevenson. He'll stay with Grandville. Tiana Day, senior guard, has got a couple of points. Checks in for the Falcons as Roberts, fellow senior, takes a seat. Highboard to lob in. 6.5 to go first half. 16-8, the early Bulldog lead. McKellar trying to feed Highboard out of bounds off of the Bulldogs. Gregor will come back in. She had a pretty extended rest to open up. It will be Highboard taking a seat in her place. Again, that's kind of been the strategy for Bulldogs. They've stayed smaller with their lineup. We have not seen many of the 2 forward lineups that normally this team uses, especially when they're out of this trapping 2-3. Belton will go into the jaws of it and feed on to Day with space to 3. Late arriving was Rakowski. No, and Day trying to save it in bounds on the second effort will stay with Eubanks and the Falcons. Here's Belton. Swings and tipped and stolen by McKellar. Got the hands in out of the trap. Now Belton sends them both down to the floor, and East Kentwood gets it. So after a high 10 foul first quarter, a little bit less on some of the contact here as that one's blocked away on the drive from Crosby. So that's certainly going to change some of the direction of this game if we're going to see more of that kind of contact allowed, especially as both teams are looking to trap more. Stevenson, junior guard, tied up. It'll go Bulldogs away. 5:52 in the second, 16-8. Again, I really like the effectiveness, this 2-3 little trapping zone the Bulldogs have thrown at them to start this quarter.
Yeah, it's been forced of enough hesitation from the Falcons. Nice recognition by Fisher. They're able to jump in as the basketball away from the body, able to jump in and get the tie ball.
Fisher will back and stutter and drive, trying to find Gregor. Saved along the baseline, Santana Eubanks. K choosing to let the Bulldog defense get set up here, get their half-court offense going. Belton triple try, splash. 11 for Harmony Belton. She has been a problem for the Bulldogs to deal with early. It's a 19-8 game.
Yeah, she's been the difference in the game through the first quarter plus, and even in a zone defense, you can't leave her open like that. Just an easy pass, so she's got to look from the wing.
Rakowski looking to do it on her own, bouncing in the lane, no. Rebound on the Day. Stevenson to Belton, drives, floater, yes. What a contest for Belton. She has 13, and Coach Karpowitz calls a timeout. 21-8 East Kentwood. Harmony Belton doing a lot of it for the Falcons. We'll be right back here from Grandville.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit bowlingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Welcome back. 21-8, Grandville trailing East Kentwood here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you this evening. Fun doubleheader this evening for certain. The boys' game in particular drawing a lot of attention. Both of those squads are here. You can see the East Kentwood team sitting in the top part of your screen. As we have video tonight, kind of more limited. We're starting just with the more fixed view on the camera. 1-2-2 trapping zone out, but hoping to kind of add on some different things on what we can do right here down the stretch. Rakowski bouncing in the lane, flings it up, no. Put back Perez, no. And out to the point, a chase to the ball, and Tiana Day will run with it. Day chased by McKellar to the basket. Reverse layup, no. Rebound to Eubanks, put back, yes. (23-8). Sorry, CT.
Yeah, the Bulldogs had a couple looks on the offensive side. Rakowski attacking the glass, Perez with the follow-up, but bad bounce off the glass leads to a fast break for the Falcons.
With space, Tessa Gregor knocks down the triple. Bulldogs in the double digits, 23-11, as Gregor finds her way onto the score sheet for the first time in this contest. Bulldogs set up that trapping zone once more. Harmony Belton with the ball. Belton with 13 in the early goings here. Finds a turning Eubanks. No, but a foul. And she got hacked, and I think they will get either Gregor or Perez on the foul right there. Foul is on Gregor, her first, and the fifth on the Bulldogs. Both teams already approaching the bonus. I mean, say already approaching. It felt like we were going to be to the bonus at the 3-minute mark, but still looking like both teams trending towards free throws to end things. Eubanks, no on the first one. One more coming on up. Bulldogs make a substitution as they will bring Tina Lozano in right here. Into the corner off the miss will stay here with the Falcons and Belton. In the wing, Day triple try. Not able to get that to go. Tyler charges and is fouled. And EK goes right back to the line with Tyler here. 3:41 in the second. 23-11. Broadcast booth just about got taken out by a falling kid behind us right here.
We got to watch our backs.
Yeah, we do. Tyler at the line. Foul is the first, by the way, on Rakowski. She splashes the first one down. 24-11 EK. Chase down rebound by Eubanks, and the possession continues. Tyler going to back down and hand off for the turning Eubanks, who scores in the lane. Good work right there. Eubanks with 6 and the pressure back on. Bulldogs trying to beat it with McKellar. Nicely done by McKellar over the timeline. Swings over Lozano. Perez drives. Here's Rakowski against Dave. Flings it. Cannot finish. Long poke for the board. McKellar keeps the Bulldog possession alive. Charging for Perez. Stolen by Day. Fed on to Belton. And that's a secure 2 for EK. 3 minutes to go. Second quarter. 28-11. 15 points now for Harmony Belton, who remains the story early.
She's taking over even more after 6 points in the first quarter. Already above that in the second quarter alone.
Reaching foul. Looks like they'll get Tyler for EK. Hybor checks in for Gregoire. Actually looks like they'll just call the ball out of bounds, not a foul. And McKellar will throw it in. McKellar for Hybor. Turns with the size advantage. Double came out of bounds. Tipped Grandville basketball. It remains 2:46 in the second. 28-11.
I like that from the Bulldogs, though. Try to quickly get an entry pass down to Hybor. The ball ends up going free, but good opportunity to try to slip the ball in down low.
Tyler, the straight steal off the feed from Lozano. Good pressure all over the place. Tiana Day, the backdoor drive. Nice, great defense from Hybor. Can't get to go. And a quick and early tie-up is going to keep the ball with EK. DeVries and Fisher check in for the Bulldogs. EK brings Crosby, freshman guard, back in. Belton finally gets a rest. Also Wozniak in. Porter the drive. Unable to get it to go over top of the Hybor defense. Big lineup right now for the Bulldogs. Pair of centers, pair of power forwards, they may call them out there right now. Eubanks looks and drives. Floater, no. Rebound, Hybor. Interesting that it's Porter that winds up taking the ball. Whenever, especially you see Belton come off, they go with more of the point forward look, trying to attack the Bulldogs that way off the bounce. 2:05 in the second, 28-11 EK. Drive, Rakowski, floater, no. Rebound, Hybor. Out of the pressure, stolen, and EK to run again. Day flings it ahead for the driving. Porter to the basket and shows score around Anaya Fisher. 30-11 EK. 6 for Michaela Porter.
Fisher at the last second trying to get a hand in there and force a miss on the left-handed layup. Porter able to make the adjustment and still go up strong.
Porter listed as a guard, despite being one of the tallest players on the floor for EK most of the time. Wild shot from Anaya Fisher. Blocking foul is called on the drive. 1:34 in the second quarter, 32-11. Team's 7th foul on EK. So regardless, going to the line is Anaya Fisher. She's been held off the score sheet as of so far. 2nd foul on Tiana Day. Despite a fair amount of fouls for both teams, not a whole bunch of foul trouble really racking up for either side. And Fisher has another coming to try to find the score sheet after she misses the first. Grong checks in for the Bulldogs. Hybor will take a seat. And EK brings Dandridge on for the first time. Fisher able to spin home the second, bring it down to 30-12 game. Coach Karpowitz and Coach Large watching on in the final 90 seconds. 3 from the wing, Dandridge, no. And the rebound down to Fisher. Bulldogs sticking more with the big lineup right here. Pair of forwards out, handoff Rakowski. Driving and jumping from McKellar. 3 over top of the charging defense. Rebound to Fisher. dumps it to Garang, working with the size and scores. 6'2", junior, just able to use that size, reaching right over top of the EK interior defense and scoring it 30-14, final minute. Bulldogs trapping again defensively. Freshman Crosby, nice move and nice score. Final 43 seconds. Anaya Fisher lost the handle and EK the run with Porter. Slings it on ahead to Crosby. The freshman chased down by Rakowski, out of bounds. Nearly one heck of a play from the chasing Gracie Rakowski right there, but EK gets the ball 32.3. Let's see how quickly they work here with that 32-14 lead. It'll be Porter to trigger. Porter finds Day. Shot off the inbound, misses. Now Rakowski the ball. Final 25, and Rakowski will slow the pace right here. Watched in the full court by Tiana Day. Anaya Fisher to back it out. Coach Carpwood's going to have her squad hold for the final shot. The screen from DeVries denied. Fisher drives, bowling into the lane. Offensive foul is called, and yeah, that's probably the call right there on the drive from Fisher, trying to use the size advantage against some of the smaller guards on the drive, but EK will get the chance for the final possession of the half. Tiana Day. Final 5 seconds. Rakowski the defense. Day off her foot, rolls in the wing. Wozniak launches, and that is the half. 32-14. EK advantage at the break in this one. Let's welcome you into our Centennial Securities halftime show. And again, just kind of a manic game. We saw a lot of different things, CT. We saw the pressure from both. We saw the trapping zones. We saw some half-court offense. We saw some full-court running. It was really a tough game to get a read on. The only thing we did get a read on is Harmony Belton's really good, and East Kentwood is up 32-14. So after all that sloppiness, the game all over the place, EK still out of that, pulls out a big lead.
Yeah, we really did see a little bit of everything, but you saw the talent of Harmony Belton able to excel in pretty much all situations there. When it was the fast break, she was getting out quickly and leading her team down the floor, but also able to attack and be aggressive in the half court when the situation called for it as well.
All right. A lot more to, of course, get to in the Centennial Securities halftime show. 32-14, EK girls up over Grandville at the break. We'll be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Welcome back to the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. 32-14 at the half. East Kentwood up over Grandville. And really, like we said, it was a game that it had a lot of different feels to it at different points. But again, we just saw this East Kentwood team. I think they came off pretty hungry. And even when there were points that Grandville was able to slow them down, the EK defense was able to stay with them, for the most part. And it just was, even when the game wasn't being played at EK's pace, it still was EK's style, if that makes sense. Because even when it was half court, it still was a lot of trapping and, a lot of sloppiness, more where EK wants to be, I think, regardless.
Yeah, I think regardless of how they're forcing to lose basketball and able to get some turnovers, it's very quickly going back the other direction when you've got guards that are able to attack the basket quickly. They've got numbers going the other direction. They're able to capitalize off it anytime they got the chance, whether that was coming in off some pressures and some traps that they were getting in the backcourt, or whether that was more in the half court once they were able to force some turnovers.
Absolutely. Still about 5 minutes to go. I think the number one thing people are happy with is now that we have a second camera, they don't have to just look at our faces as much. I think that would be something I'd be very excited about if I had to watch these broadcasters, not having to stare at us all break long. All right, Grandville on the flip side, Chandler. You have three players, Gregor, McKellar, Rakowski, all with 3 points to help, co-lead the team. The offense has just been struggling. The defenses have moments where it's okay, but we've also seen the high skill, in particular, Belton outscoring you at the half. I mean, what are some of the things that Coach Karputz is probably even looking to install? I think defensively, that trapping 2-3 zone, I would probably go back to that more. The problem is you have to turn up the wick on the pace of the game in general, which is not where you want to be. I mean, it's a long road back, and it's going to start with, sometimes basketball is as simple as you got to make shots, and I think they might just have to kind of make some shots.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it's looking. That's the issue that they're going to find themselves in. But I think, when you're looking at, in order to make a comeback in this game, they're going to have to go a little bit quicker than probably what they want. But what they were having success with defensively was that trap. They were able to force some turnovers of their own, create some confusion from the Falcons when they were trying to attack the basket. When you've got more of that zone defense, you can cut off some of those driving lanes that the Falcons were able to take advantage of early on. But offensively, I think you saw a little bit of Rakowski attacking the basket. And, it comes down to sometimes just capitalizing on those opportunities or whether the defense is going to be there recognizing that and then kicking it out from there. But I think you continue to look for that. You've seen Gregor and McKellar hit a couple open threes. If they've got continue to get looks, if the Falcons are going to throw a zone of their own at them, you're going to have to continue to find looks like that and some of your players that can hit shots from the outside.
Huge night, as I said, on Michigan Sports Radio as well. Our other games on the Listen Live tab on Michigan Sports Radio. Of course, if you're listening through the app, I'm sure you're bouncing back and forth on a lot of those games as well. But, Hudsonville, Rockford. Rockford girls lead by 9 at the half in that game. Brock Conk was there during that game. Actually, I know I'm mostly hoping. So Brock is trying out. We have a new feature of Michigan Sports Radio, and we're going to probably try it out in some weeks coming that we can do live look-ins to other games, especially games that are doing video across our network. So all I'm hoping right now is that he's going to a live look-in right now while we're talking, and he just goes to a live look-in in our games, just us and our faces up on screen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for, that he winds up getting at some point. We should probably, what we should do is just leave our broadcast like this the whole time. You just watch us call the game, and then just all of a sudden when Brock flips over, all the Hudsonville and Rockford listeners have to see us. But no, that's, huge night on Michigan Sports Radio, start to finish. Both teams back out and going through the warm-ups. We're going to step aside one last time and come back with some second half action here from Grandville.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you, and thanks for tuning in. It's actually just flip around. Thanks for tuning in to the Centennial Securities halftime show. I told Chandler before this game, this is going to be our least professional game we've probably ever put together, trying to figure out all the features on what we can do this evening. 32-14 at the half, Chandler. East Kentwood leading Grandville. And again, you have a long road back, of course, if you're the Bulldogs in this one, but they've at least shown enough flashes where the defense was working, where the offense got looks that maybe they just weren't knocking down. It's going to take some pace. It's going to take some intensity. They do get the ball to start the half. You know, I guess it's kind of Coach Carput's probably come out. Let's see what we can do the first 3-4 minutes and go from there.
Yeah, I think you make some adjustments. You go back to what was working in the first half here, see if you can put a couple strong possessions on the either end of the floor here and chip away, and then you get a stretch like that, you never know what can happen, but it all starts early.
Lozano in the wing will back it out here for the Bulldogs and get the offense started around the Gregoire screen. See East Kentwood, they switch, they trap, they just pressure so much, even in their half-court man defensive looks like this one. Highbore lobs for Gregoire. The hand in there was Eubanks. Belton the run. Onto the sprinting Porter. Able to save it baseline, but Rakowski the ball, and now Grandville to counter and run. Bulldogs have numbers. Rakowski the drive, poked away by Belton. Volleyball out of play by Highbore, and it will go East Kentwood's direction. 7:22 third quarter, 32-14.
Yeah, the Falcons unable to get a basket there as they quickly were trying to run, but you just see how fast they can turn a rebound or a steal underneath their own basket defensively and how quick they get a pass down the floor and are running the other way.
Day in the wing, triple over top of the defense from Fisher will not go, and the Bulldogs will regather and restart right here. No one able to get on the board through the first minute of this quarter. Horn set called out up top by Rakowski. Around the screen, no look to the driving McKellar. Nice sequence and nice finish from Olivia McKellar. 32-16. Bulldogs have the Falcons halved right now.
Yeah, great design there on that play. Able to get Rakowski strong to the left side, and the cut from McKellar on the baseline off of it.
Another steal forced by this Bulldogs defense. A very good start for them defensively right now. Lob pass, and again, it's the hand of the driving Eubanks. She is quite the rover defensively. Comes from off the ball, and a couple times has really broken things up down low defensively. Already just to start this half for EK.
Yeah, Gregor was open for just a second in the middle of the lane. The pass just a second too late to where Eubanks could get a hand in.
Give it a second try with McKellar from the corner. 6.5 to go third quarter. 32-16. East Kentwood. McKellar directs traffic and ultimately will decide to hand off for Gregor, who's got that Eubanks defense. McKellar, the senior guard, will peer and stop. Fisher, fellow senior guard, goes to work. Look at the defense all over her. From Porter, drive, nice feed, and a finish with a mid-range jumper from Gregor. 5 for Gregor, 32-18. Good start. 4-0 for the Bulldogs in the second half. Tiana Day cut off by Gregor. McKellar helps on the defense. Bulldogs sticking with that tough trapping 2-3 zone here to open. Harmony Belton, your leading scorer, had 15 in the first half. East Kentwood sets up a little bit of a zone offense of their own. Drive and unable to go for Porter. And the Bulldogs the rebound again. Terrific defense continues. This look has really mystified East Kentwood's offensive attack. Saw them go more of a zone set of their own offensively that last time. Fisher for Gregor, dumping for Hybor, and somehow finding Fisher out of the scrum. 5.5 to go, third quarter. Fisher will come up top and reset the offense. East Kentwood sticking man-to-man here. Rakowski on Day to Fisher, looks at the basket. Rakowski resets, offense kind of grinding, slowing down for the Bulldogs. Stepping into the three, Rakowski, no, rebound to Hybor. Turning the back and going to the line. Good work by Hybor on the board. And Grandville continues to really come out excellent game plan in the second half. Terrific defensively, and their offense getting at least a good first look and even second looks off of it.
Yeah, it's been a strong couple minutes to start the second half. Seen them be able to make some adjustments. The defense that was working in the first half has continued to slow down the Falcons and get them out of what they like to do. And then offensively now starting to find some points. They've been able to drive to the basket and then kick it out from there to another player attacking the basket. Fisher and Rakowski both with some nice assists.
Good work by Hybor, knocks them both down at the line. She has 4. By the way, that foul, the third on Banks, so we continue to not really see in this contest. Day can't hit right there. They up the pace a little bit offensively and forced one against the Bulldog zone, and Grandville runs back with it. They're down 12, looking to get within 10 or maybe even single digits. McKellar fakes the deep 3, charging defense there from Eubanks. Lozano enters, skips to Hybor, driving Rakowski. Bulldogs keep it down low as Day and Tyler tied her up down low. 4.5 third quarter, 32-20. And EK and Coach Large want a timeout. Terrific start for the Bulldogs for sure in this one to open things up on both ends of the floor in the second half. We'll be right back here from Grandville.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
Welcome back, Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here. Game night on Michigan Sports Radio, thanks to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities, as we always do for their support. They're presenting sponsorship here. Game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Video coverage tonight of the first doubleheader of the 2023 year and of this basketball season from Vanderslice Gymnasium. East Kentwood girls up 32-20 over Grandville right now. They're able to pressure a steal away right here. Grandville going full court as Rakowski chases the ball. We talked about it in the Bates Agency pregame show. The one player the Bulldogs have that probably can match some of the intensity of the EK guards the most and create a little bit of havoc is going to be Rakowski. The Bulldogs will settle into this very effective 2-3 trapping zone here. Belton swings for Day. Tyler up top, just kind of a zone swinging offense right now against the trapping Bulldogs. Belton was space. She's got 18 after the triple. 35-20.
Taking advantage of the zone as it swings over. They get a couple passes back around the arc, and then Belton there with an open look at the basket.
Work by Fisher to beat the pressure to Rakowski. Stutters, drives. Oh, cannot get the touch on the 360. Board down to a running Porter. Foul on the Bulldogs, who are matching some full court pace right now, and outside of that last 3, and I think the game is kind of going to flip if Grandville continues the zone, because it's in EK's best interest to slow it down and swing until they get an open 3 right now versus wanting to run. It's all a little backwards.
It is, yeah, it really is. The Falcons, though, look uncomfortable until that made 3.
Day out of the soft spot of the zone, can't get the rattle, and the Bulldogs the ball back. 3:20 to go, third quarter, 35-20. East Kentwood by 15. Belton leads all scorers with 18. Murkowski hits the cutting high board, blocked by Tyler. Bulldogs keep it. That's what's so tough against this defense. I mean, they rally to the ball so well that even when you think you might get that cut in the drive, it's going to be tough for you. Murkowski will check out. Dowlett will come, and this is very likely going to be Murkowski's final seed of the game based on the way this one goes down the stretch. EK sticking man pressure in the half court, but up in the intensity. It's been Eubanks that's been all over the place as a defender. On the ball, off the ball, roving. And it's going back the other way. 5-second call as number 5 kept the pressure on. And she answers the bell, but Eubanks defensively really been the leader inside and out, on the ball and off. When they're in zone, when they're in man, she's really been the one that kind of brings together this defense.
Yeah, Fisher trying to make something happen off the bounce, but Eubanks extending the pressure all the way out to the logo, never relenting.
Bulldogs picking up the intensity on the trap. Day swings for Porter. Tyler finds Belton. Belton for the driving Porter. Blocked and fouled by Hybor. 2:34, third quarter. Second foul on Hybor, second on the Bulldogs. And you see it again as Grang will get ready to check in for the Bulldogs here, along with Rakowski off her very short rest. But it's that same notion for EK. When they swing it, when they work it against the zone, that's when you're able to get the looks that they are going to want. First one won't go. Free throw struggles for East Kentwood so far in this one tonight. McKellar will check out along with Fisher as Rakowski and Grang, as I mentioned, will check in here for the Bulldogs. Porter goes 1 of 2. She's got 7 now, and the Falcons bring out that diamond in 1 havoc press again. And it's stolen away by who else but Eubanks, but she steps out of bounds. And, I mean, you can see it. This is the press that it's tough to run because of the intensity of it, but it has been what has bothered the Bulldogs the most. 1-2, 1-1, diamond 1 press. The Shaka Smart VCU press is probably how it came to popularity for many nationwide. Steal there for Wozniak, and she'll run it to the corner for Harmony Belton. Floater, no, that's one of her most effective shots. Unable to get that one. And the Bulldogs will reset the offense here, and off the miss, it looked like maybe not pressure, but they're forced to kick it over here to Rakowski. 2 minutes to go, third quarter, 36-20. McKellar with space. Late closeout, Tyler. Shot will not fall. Rebound, chased down by Santana Eubanks. It's been the scoring of Belton. It's been the everything else from Eubanks that really leading the way for Coach Large's squad. Wing triple, Wozniak, no. Chases down her own rebound, reaching over top of Rakowski. In the corner, Porter with space. Late closeout. Shot will not go. Put back Eubanks. That was tipped on its way down. And a travel is rolling on the floor. It's given up by Wozniak. Freshman guard Michaela Crosby will check in for Tyler here. Coach Large will set the press up again with 1:37 in the third. Into McKellar. Breaks it on her own. Over to Gregor. Errant pass. Saved baseline. Bulldogs keep it. Tic-tac-toe. Garang scores with her second bucket of the game. That'll work out for Grandville right there as East Kentwood tries to run a little quickly on their own. 36-22. Porter corner. Space. No. Too strong. They're really struggling with threes. They've been given some open looks against the Bulldog zone. McKellar harassed and fouled. They'll get either Eubanks or they will get Eubanks on the call. 1:14, third quarter. First foul despite all that intensity from Eubanks. 36-22. And Day will check back in.
See, the Bulldogs have been able to get the basketball inbounds against this pressure. It's then been as they try to make the pass down the floor once they get close to the halfway point.
ripped away by Eubanks. Able to steal the ball right on cue, by the way, with your analysis. Here's Day, mid-range, will not fall. East Kentwood continues to fight it, but Eubanks just ripped that ball clean away, and the Bulldogs will get it over to Rakowski. Is at least off the miss. He can't set up the press quite as well, and the Bulldogs will get things going. Final 50 seconds of the third, 36-22. Rakowski drives, looking for Grang. No, bounces away. Taken and flung ahead by Wozniak. Here's belted to the basket, and the leading scorer cannot add to her total. The follow and the finish from the charging Michaela Crosby. 34 seconds, third quarter, 38-22. Bulldogs break it to Rakowski. Rakowski trapped as they're going half-court trap now. Dowlett gathers, feeds, fouled. 21.4 in the third, 38-22.
Bulldogs started off the third quarter, nice 6-0 run. Got a little bit of momentum, but it's been East Kentwood these last few minutes here, now making a push of their own, and the Bulldogs trying to survive these last 20 seconds, get another look here, and get to the fourth quarter.
And Perezin will run the offense and come out of the pressure on the handoff to Rakowski. Final 13 seconds. Gregor, corner, triggers the quick triple. Can't get it to go. Rebound on the run from the freshman Crosby. Flings ahead to Belton, who's all alone. She won't miss another one on the easy look. Harmony Belton now with 20, and we've reached the end of 3. 22 for the Bulldogs. They're able to up their offense a little bit in that frame, but the problem is they're down 40-22 right now. Do not go anywhere. Be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, final quarter here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on MGN on Michigan Sports Radio. 40-22, East Kentwood girls lead in our doubleheader opening. Bulldogs bring this trapping 2-3 zone back. Tiana Day shoots the triple to open, can't knock it down. That's been really the big story that's been hampering the offense for East Kentwood. They've really struggled to shoot the basketball in the second half of play, and it's allowed the Bulldogs to stay in that zone look.
Forcing the Falcons, other than Belton, to try to shoot the three. Belton's hurt him with a couple, but other than that, allowing some open threes and allowing that rather than driving into the lane for some easy baskets that many of these guards for the Falcons can do.
Foul on the driving Olivia McKellar there. 7.5 to go, third quarter. That is foul number 3 on Wozniak, the junior guard. Tiana Day will take a seat as Solea Stevenson checks in for Coach Large. Gregor with 5. That leads the Bulldogs in scoring. Here's Rakowski. Drives and off balance will go to the line. I think that's where the Bulldogs, and now it's fourth quarter, and it's kind of a missed opportunity. And again, they've done a good job checking her so she can't. But I feel like those aggressive wing drives from Rakowski, she's been able to attack it to get some at least wild opportunities, gets to the line here off of it.
Yeah, I think the offense is best suited to run through her attacking the basket like that. She doesn't always have to go up with a shot attempt. I think once the defense collapses and has to try to cut off her drive to the basket, that allows more backdoor and baseline cuts off from it, but they have to continue to run through it. At times it's going to look a little bit out of control, but I think Rakowski comfortable playing in that style and able to find some opportunities that way.
Rakowski got them both, 40-24. She has 5. Belton swings for the freshman Crosby. Stevenson tries the triple. Rebound down to Gregor. Again, Rakowski will run the offense. First minute of the final frame is gone. Belton the defense on Rakowski. Drives, kicks, corner, all alone. Gregor 3, no. Trying the rebound. Taken away by Crosby. The freshman will run the offense again all the way down the floor. Flings Belton, mid-range J. Can't get the finish. Put back opportunity. Also will not go for Wozniak. And out of it, it's the freshman Crosby keeping it alive and around to Belton. That one falls no, and a foul is called. Will they get Wozniak on the floor? Do they give her the shot right here? Foul is going to be on Perez, and it's on the floor. That's the third foul on the Bulldogs of the half, and the first of the game on Emma Perez. So Belton thrown again. Belton leading scorer for everyone in this game with 20. Lobs against the zone to Solea Stevenson. Minute and a half gone in the fourth. 3 from the freshman Crosby will not go again. Another missed triple for EK, and despite the chase from Belton to the corner, the Bulldogs get the ball. I mean, it's an offense that's been off balance. We talked about it, only scored 28 against Rockford, and the inability to shoot from 3 is something that's very different that we haven't seen out of these East Kentwood teams recently, and a struggle for them right now, and giving the Bulldogs a chance, maybe even thinking next time they meet on how they can use this zone. EK going to trap some of themselves here. Perez hands off Rakowski. Defense from Stevenson. Screen Gregor, foul. That was Crosby, the freshman, on the bump. 6:05 fourth quarter, 40-24. And that should send Rakowski to the line. Actually, it's going to be team 6 foul, my bad. So team 6 foul. Nice feed, cutting. Hybor scores. Good job on the inbound feed to find Hybor. And Hybor was 6 now to lead the Bulldogs in scoring. And then on the chase up the floor, turned over, and the Bulldogs go to the line off the foul. That's the team's 7th foul. It's on Roberts, and Hybor goes to work at the line again. Unable to knock down the front end of the 1-and-1, and Belton the basketball. 2 minutes gone, final frame, 40-26. Belton swings, triple try, wing, yes, splashing down for Sophia Wozniak. She gets on the board, and EK finally knocks down a triple, 43-26.
Yeah, eventually the open threes are going to hurt you. That one wide open.
Rakowski drives and scores. Nice answer from the Bulldog Jr. Now Belton going to go coast to coast, look to answer on her own. Exit, escaping, driving pass to Stevenson. And a timeout is called by Coach Large out of some confusion down low. I think both officials are almost looking to call something else at first. And quick 30-second timeout from EK. 5.5 to go, fourth quarter, 43-28 East Kentwood. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at grshof.com. I've only done that read 30 times. 5.5 to go, fourth quarter, 43-28. And EK to lob in here with Belton. Crosby swings for Wozniak. Floater, no. Put back. Can't go for Porter. Second opportunity for Eubanks is fouled, and Santana Eubanks has 6 points. He'll go to the line for the Falcons here. 5:18 in the fourth, 43-28.
A lot of second chances for the Falcons here in the last couple minutes. They've had a lot of looks offensively, getting some rebounds underneath the basket, offensive boards, allowing them to get more looks at the basket. I think that's maybe just part of the Bulldogs being worn down, running back and forth down the floor. They've got some size to try to box out and get some opportunities, but the Falcons crashing the glass very hard.
Eubanks unable to get it, but the rebound to Porter. So Eubanks 0 for 2 there. Save from Porter along the baseline against the Bulldog. Pressure to Belton. Belton, Crosby back. Keller crowds the defense. 3 minutes gone in the fourth. Triple from the wing. That one will not go for Wozniak. And the Bulldogs get the basketball off the high bounce. 4:58, fourth quarter. EK brings the trapping pressure back out. Dallett stripped and fouled, and she'll go to the line for a 1-1. 8th team foul on the Falcons. They get Eubanks for her second right there. Third, I should say.
The fouls now as the Bulldogs in the bonus going to be benefited. They have had to deal with a lot of the pressure, and we saw it early on when the Falcons picked up some early fouls, had to back it off a little bit. We'll see now as they're approaching the double bonus, got a couple yet to give, but the Bulldogs going to have some chances at the free throw line.
First of the game up the line for Allison Dowd, junior guard that we've seen really kind of first guard off the bench for the Bulldogs this season. Grandville's gone 10 deep in this contest for Coach Karpowitz. And Dowd in rhythm, knocks them both down. So Grandville looking like as they bring out some pressure on their way to a third straight loss. Nice feed on to Eubanks, and Santana Eubanks now with 8 able to get the score. And 45-30 up 15. They bring the pressure back out. Rakowski over the timeline past Belton. Down for Gregor, all alone, scores. Good job to press break and get it to Gregor. She now leads the Bulldogs in scoring, or ties Rakowski in the lead in scoring with 7. Pressure up to the final 4.5 minutes. Steal from Rakowski. Checking and fouled by Michaela Crosby. 4:18 to go, fourth quarter, and first time all game we've seen both teams with these very highly aggressive full-court defensive looks, and of course it comes at the end when we're starting to work on bonus and double bonus and we can extend the game. Here's Rakowski at the line. That foul, by the way, is 2 on Crosby, 9 on the team. No second one coming as Eubanks is fouled by Gregor. Third on Gregor, 5 on the Bulldogs, and Grandville going to go with a diamond one themselves. Nearly stolen there by McKellar, but secured by Porter. Junior guard flings over to Wozniak. Wozniak, runner. Can't get the touch, but the follow, and Eubanks goes to the line. 16 foul on the Bulldogs. 4:06 in the fourth. By the way, they got Highboard, not Gregor, for that last one. That foul is foul number 3 on Dallett, and the first one is good for Eubanks, who's got 9, so she's looking at going double digits along with all the good defensive work. And ups that lead to 46-32 with another coming here. Struggling a little bit at the line, but Porter the rebound. Second chances galore for East Kentwood in the lane, finding the soft spot of the defense. Wozniak can't convert. Bulldogs to run with Rakowski. Nice outlet pass from Highboard to get it there. Rakowski, step back 3, over top of Wozniak, no. Rebound of the Falcons and a foul. As Belton was chasing up the floor, we're both in the bonus now with 3:47 in the fourth quarter. 46-32. Things on the verge of getting academic, but again, it looks like 3 losses in a row to start the OK Red season after a 6-1 start for the Bulldogs, so definitely have to reset things a little bit. I mean, you know how difficult it was with West Otto, with East Kentwood in some of those first 3 games. Belton won't be getting a second, and the Bulldogs will be getting the ball as Tyler knocks it out. Fisher checks in for Coach Karpowitz. 3:44 in the fourth. 46-32. Dallett gets an applause and a seat.
That's one of the things about playing in the OK Red Conference. You can really be a pretty good basketball team and win some non-conference games, but a lot of teams would take a hit having to play the slate that the OK Red presents.
Driving block shot as Porter ranges into the lane. 3.5 to go in this one, 46-32. Of course, make sure to stay with us. Really, really interesting storylines we'll get into in the boys' game. The Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Fisher charging in on Eubanks. No foul in either direction. East Kentwood the run with Belton. Belton into the corner. Tyler triple try over top of Gregor. Splash. And turns back to her bench off the 3.
Yeah, not sure how there was not a foul called on the Fisher inbound pass. Is either a charge or a block, one or the other. There was a lot of contact, but leading to a 3 in the corner the other way.
Timeout on the floor, 49. There's actually quick correction. Trinity Starling, not Kanila Tyler, is wearing number 2 tonight for EK. That was a late change. That actually didn't make it onto the roster that I had gotten. So apologies to that. Starling, the one that the PA has labeled right there. So want to make that quick correction. Late in the game, but still want to make that quick correction. 3:07 to go, fourth quarter, 49-32. And coming down towards the close of this one. Hopefully everyone enjoying some of the video coverage. I think we were mentioning off air that we're going to have to adjust ourselves. We've been calling radio like this and have that rhythm for like 6 years. I've done TV work, not as much in sports. I've done TV work, but I've only done video basketball like 3-4 times in my life. Now, thankfully, you've been with me. The problem is a lot of that came when we were 17 years old. So I don't know if I can remember how to do it. So we're going to have to try to get back into it. So, but no, regardless, I think a cool thing to add, especially at least all the home games and then any NFHS network schools. So I think games at Jenison, we should be able to have this rolling. And some other schools, of course, at Rockford, Brock Conkle will have video for those games regardless. And yeah, we'll keep working on some of the things we can do. Nice handoff and drive from McKellar. Can't get the touch, though. We go inside 3 minutes, and we have another foul on the fight. Oh, we have a ball on the fight for the ball. Alternating possession goes Grandville's way.
McKellar fired up there after had a chance on the right-handed side there to try to get a lay-in. Couldn't get it to go just a little bit short, but immediately able to keep fighting and try to tie that basketball up and get some possession back for the Bulldogs.
McKellar skips it to Highbor. Can't get the finish. Second chance fouled. And a 1-and-1. They'll call it on the floor. I think that's Kyria Banks. Ooh. She'll stay on after her fourth foul right here, but she's been playing in pretty much 30-second bursts. Just a tough night with foul trouble for her, and picks up one more immediately after coming on. Highbor knocks down the first. 7 for Highbor, solid night. And like we said, the Bulldogs are going to have a post advantage in terms of that minimum height, and they've been able to utilize that. Highbor's looked good cutting to the basket, able to convert both at the line and get us to a 49-34 game. Bulldogs a little bit more relaxed, trapping full court look right here. Starling drives and scores.
Yeah, nice move by Starling. Had the opportunity to rip through and then go strong to the right side, blow past the defender.
Gregor, handoff, driving, Rakowski, no. Banks the board. Out of bounds. It'll go the Bulldogs' direction. Starling nearly got that one back off the foot of Fisher on its way out. Rakowski will trigger. 2.5 to go in the fourth, 51-34. Getting set for the boys contest to follow here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio, so make sure you don't go anywhere. First to the Bates Agency postgame show, DeVries for Rakowski, and then the Bates Agency pregame show. Deep three, Gracie Rakowski, no off the connector. Starling the board and lobs it out of the reach of the freshman Crosby. Kind of interesting with Starling in this game. We've seen her skill and how she's kind of taken over in moments. We've seen her in past years as well, but a little bit quiet, really, I think, outside of that on the whole in terms of some of her play on that, outside of some of those moments. It's all part of this team, I think, is just waiting East Kentwood that is to click a little bit. You can see the pieces. They don't just quite seem to be adding up as of yet as Highbor goes to the line. But I think by the second run around of the OK Red, I think Rockford, I think Hudsonville, and West Ottawa probably should be looking out, because this is a team that I think is probably not going to win the Red, but I think they're going to be positioned to ruin someone's day fighting for the Red.
Yeah, I think they're in a pretty good spot to where they've got the individual talent, they've got the pieces there, they've got the system in place, and just working on ironing things out as you're still early on in the conference season. But we've seen it in bursts tonight that they've got the depth and the talent to really make a push, and they're going to be able to hang when they put things together to hang with some of the top teams in the OK Red.
That foul was on Banks, and she'll immediately go and run through her bench, go to the water bucket at the end. Not, I think, the most thrilled that she has been by the end of the night. Played about 3 minutes. Just one of those nights where the foul is just find a way to keep finding you. Driving and wildly out of bounds off of the freshman Michaela Crosby. We've seen a little bit of Crosby. That's another player I want to kind of highlight. I mean, she charges at full speed. It's, she's freshman. You can expect some mistakes still be made, but I think once she adds things up, it's just all part of this team. And we've seen Coach Large go younger quite often with some of his players and develop them on the varsity squad. I don't think there's any change. I mean, we saw Belton as a freshman, as a sophomore, similarly trying to develop. Wild shot from Anaya Fisher goes in the lane. She has 3. And the Bulldogs will trap themselves here. Minute 45 in the final frame, 51-36. Over the timeline, a whistle. And a timeout is called. All right, so EK timeout, 1:39 in the fourth quarter, 51-36. So as I said, make sure you stay tuned to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency postgame show. After this one, we will hand out our Centennial Securities Player of the Game. Then we'll reset the broadcast, and make sure you stay tuned for the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show as we get ready for the boys' game. Grandville, East Kentwood, it's going to be fun. The Bulldogs are not happy, I'm sure, off that loss against Caledonia. Coach, I was talking to you off the air the other day. We both respected Coach Windermiller and what he did with his teams. Now that he's gone, Coach Visser is kind of my new guy that's filling that role, I think, in terms of other coaches in the OK Red that just find a way to win. I mean, they fundamentaled in defense to Grandville to death in the second half, and it's just one of those tough games to try to win at Caledonia. The Bulldogs fall short. Looking to jump back on it, get a win. But this East Kentwood team, I think, is primed under Mike Thomas. We'll talk a lot about what his credentials are, but he's got 3 state championship rings, so not much more to talk about credentials-wise with him. They're in a unique spot, and they also have a player that's a one-of-one, a true kind of unicorn-type player, Christian Humphrey Rembert, who, he was a Christmas present to this team over the holiday break, showed up at the Cornerstone Holiday Tournament, and certainly brings a lot to what that team's going to have. It's going to be a really fun boys game as Rakowski off the miss gets the board. We go to the final 110. 51-36, 15-point win for East Kentwood, and again, it's all about progress. This was a far more competitive game than what Grandville has played in some past years against DK. Nice job off the screen. Rakowski splashes one down. So, double-digit scoring for Rakowski. Charging here is Crosby. And she'll get it back to the final 50 seconds. 51-39. So Leia Stevenson. Coach Large kind of emptied the bench a little bit out of that break. Desiree Roberts kicks it up top. Final 36 seconds. Jabbing is Wozniak. Corner drive. Stevenson. Block Garang. Put back. Goes. Stevenson on the board for the Falcons. 53-39. Final 23 seconds. And a timeout to get the substitution in with Lozano for Coach Karpowicz. Rakowski will take a break. Solid performance from Rakowski. You knew she was going to be run ragged this evening against East Kentwood. She goes double-digit scoring and looks solid that last 3 around the screen. A good one as well. I think you continue to want to see her find a way to be even more aggressive, I think, going forward offensively for Grandville the rest of this season. Going to be an 0-3 start for the Bulldogs in conference play in the always tough OK Red. Anaya Fisher to the final 10 seconds, drives and is stripped. All right. That will, after a late shot, do it. Won't go up the horn for Roberts, but a solid night for East Kentwood. The Lady Falcons get back on track, and they go 6-3 on the season. The final from this one, 53-39. Bulldog girls, again, tough start in maybe the toughest basketball conference on the girls' side in the state of Michigan. They're 0-3 in the conference, now 6-4 overall on the year with a loss here tonight. Welcome into the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency post-game show. It'll be kind of an abbreviated version of the post-game before we will reset the broadcast for the boys' game to follow CT. So let's just kind of get into first off some of the quick scoring. Belton leads East Kentwood with scoring. She has 20. Rakowski leads the Bulldogs with 10. 8 for Highbor, 7 for Gregwer, 5 for McKellar. For EK, by the way, also 9 for Eubanks, leading the way, or helping lead the way. We'll go quick into it, and I think it's pretty simple. And Centennial Securities player of the game, Harmony Belton. I mean, the junior guard really did it all for them, especially in that big run when they pushed the lead in the second quarter. She was the one that took over, and you look at her scoring with 20 points, a big part of the difference.
Yeah, I think all that damage coming in the first 3 quarters as well. But early on when they were running their press pretty heavy, she was able to get out and get quickly down the floor and able to push things on her own. Her ability to handle the basketball and go from one end of the floor to the other quickly. And then later in the game, once the Bulldogs were going more to that zone defense to where they're having to shoot over top of it, Belton was the one consistently hit a couple threes in there as well to kind of expand that defense and make it difficult for the Bulldogs all night long.
All right, second game going to be fun. East Kentwood girls open with a win. Let's see how the evening closes with the boys. It's been our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agents post-game show. Let's reset the broadcast. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so after the MHSAA This Week report with a really, really fun one on the boys' side. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Winter finals will be here before you know it, and there's still a need for registered officials. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Welcome to 2023 as we pick up our winter sports season already in progress. While it seems like the fall season just wrapped up, winter championships will be here soon. So let's get you caught up on the whens and wheres for each of our sports. First is the Upper Peninsula Swimming and Diving Finals for both boys and girls on February 18th. And then it's on to Team Wrestling Finals on February 24th and 25th in Kalamazoo. And that's followed by Boys and Girls Skiing Finals February 27th. March is when the schedule really heats up. The competitive cheer finals will be March 2nd and 3rd this year, and those will be held at the McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. Girls and boys bowling finals will be held March 3rd and 4th, the same weekend as individual wrestling finals at Ford Field. Ice hockey drops the puck March 9th through 11th for semifinals and finals at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. Gymnastics finals are that weekend as well. Those will be held at Lakeland High School. And the Lower Peninsula boys swimming and diving finals are also March 10th and 11th. Girls basketball invades the Breslin Center on March 16th for the start of 3 days of semifinals and finals action. Champions will be crowned on Saturday, March 18th. And then the boys move in the next weekend. Semifinal play starts March 23rd, and all 4 finals will be Saturday, March 25th. Both boys and girls basketball finals will be carried live on Bally Sports Detroit. For schedules, pairings, brackets, tickets, and streaming information, the best place to go is to the newly redesigned MHSAA.com. Everything that you need for our winter finals can be found there. Game balls this week go to Belding junior wrestler Jack Ward. He notched career win number 100 over the break, joining his older brother Mitchell and his dad/coach Art as 100-match winners at Belding. To Bedford's Victoria Gray, she scored 25 points in a 9-point win over South Lyon East in the Airport Showcase. Bedford is off to a 7-0 start this year in girls basketball. And to Montebello senior J.T. Smith. He went over the 1,000 career points mark in a win over St. Charles.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
If you've seen the movie Hoosiers, you know that a basketball rim is 10 feet above the ground. That's the same if you're in the gym at Beaver Island High School or at Little Caesars Arena. But what are the other court dimensions? To start, courts are typically 84 feet long, but can be up to 94 feet long. They're also 50 feet wide. The free throw line is 15 feet from the face of the backboard, and the high school three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches from the basket. Each hoop is a circle, 18 inches in diameter. The boys play with a basketball 29.5 inches in circumference. The girls play with one that's 28.5 inches in circumference. And believe it or not, 2 girl balls will go through a standard rim at the same time.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Sticking with officiating, since 2020, the number of registered officials in Michigan has fallen from more than 9,000 to less than 8,000. It's a dip that puts extra strain on our current officials. But for the fall 2022 season, the number of registered officials is more in line with where we were pre-pandemic, and things seem to be slowly trending up. The MHSAA has increased pay for postseason games and provided membership in the National Association of Sports Officials. Membership gives officials expanded insurance coverages, access to professional services and development, and a subscription to an MHSAA-focused referee magazine. But there's still a need for more. If you are interested, go to MHSAA.com and click on Officials for more information. Because without officials, it's just practice. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Lobbed ahead over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryan's Vanderjack up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point. Rosema, innocent space. Shot, scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line given on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency. Pre-game show, boys side of the draw. Grandville, East Kentwood, EK girls open up the night with a win. Grandville 4-3 on the year, now 1-1 in the OK Red. Off a really kind of just disappointing 55-46 loss. A game the Bulldogs led most of the way and even led big somewhat most of the way early in that game. East Kentwood now 2-0 in the very tough OK Red. They had a huge come-from-behind win. They were down as much as 17 against Rockford. They roll back and win. And for head coach Mike Thomas, it's his first year as a head coach of the Falcons. This is a man, though, that is not new, of course, to coaching. A 3-time state champion. We saw his team at the Breslin Center last year when he was at Grand Blanc. They were state runner-up there. I mean, a couple of titles at Kalamazoo Central, a title at Grand Blanc with Ty Rogers, who you may have seen throw down that crazy dunk the other night for Illinois. And all of that can be said. This team plays that way. I talked to Brock Conkle, the Rockford broadcaster for Michigan Sports Radio. You know, this is a team, they're up in your grill the whole game. 32 minutes, 94 feet at a time. We know what the Bulldogs can do. This is as good of a half-court defensive team as what you're going to find. They like to grind. They like to, play that kind of game. Coach Young's team is going to have a challenge trying to settle into that kind of game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult matchup for them, but one that they're going to try to be prepared for when East Kentwood, a team that coming into the season had a lot of talent and has always been high energy, a pretty gritty team that can play at a fast tempo, has a lot of individual talent, but now you bring in a coach that has that pedigree, that has the championship success, and of course you bring in some star-level talent as well on top of that, but I think a team that really is going to present a challenge for the rest of the conference.
Well, you beat me to the point, CT, because this is a team that looks a lot different than what they maybe even looked like at the start of the year. Look at the top of the key. 6'9", hyper-athletic, 10 Division I offers, and he didn't play for the team until the Cornerstone Holiday Tournament. But we've seen him before. It's Christian Humphrey Rembert. He played here as a freshman. He went to the highly, highly touted La Lumiere Prep out of LaPorte, Indiana. It's a top 25 high school in the country in terms of basketball. Even though this is a kid with 10 D1 offers, including Cal and some Power 5 offers. I mean, is Cal a Power 5 team right now? I don't know. But, at least Power 5 offers on the table, Western and some other good teams. despite all of that, he wasn't getting enough playing time at La Lumiere, so he decides to come back to where he was. Coach Thomas says that he didn't know that he was committing to the school until he showed up on the student roll for the second half of the year. Do with that what you will. But regardless, this is quite, as I said, a Christmas present for this team, because not very often do you add a 10D1 offer, 6'9", hyper-athletic, scores from all three, make it 4 levels. He adds a 4th level and can shoot from deep. He helps press and helps play defense. By the way, he only had 2 points in the win over Rockford, but he certainly can take off otherwise.
Yeah, I think a team that already had a lot of talent, and then, as you said, you add another player of that caliber, a guy that's been here a couple years ago. We remember watching him and seeing just the size as a freshman of how remarkable it was and the talent you could see. Now finds his way back at East Kentwood and is looking to take this team to the next level, and I think if they get him going on top of some of the already impressive talent that they have, they can be seriously dangerous.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at these two teams a little bit more. Let's start with Grandville's loss to Caledonia. I was there for that contest, and you can see right here in the lane the drive. And sorry, that is the wrong clip. That's the Caledonia clip. We're going to have to go away from that. All right, that was a mistake in our edit. We were about to watch some Caledonia highlights again. We'll have to correct that some other time. Actually, Chandler, if you can just start talking, tell us a little bit. You look at this Bulldogs team, Tyson Mann, 25 points against West Ottawa. Nothing against Caledonia. Somewhere in between is where, of course, he's going to have to find himself. But the upside of Mann is so huge.
Yeah, it is. I think, you've seen the ability at times from Tyson Mann to really be an elite scorer when he's got everything working. He can hit some outside shots. He can attack off the bounce, be a attacking point guard for this offense. I mean, of course, in a system that plays some really lockdown defense, he's a tremendous defender as well, but, not going to be a ton of shots in the style and the pace of offense that they play. So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to put up 25 points every night. That's not the expectation for Tyson Mann. But I think he definitely has the ability to be in double digits. And so when you see him held scoreless the other night against Caledonia, definitely something that you circle and look for him to try to bounce back, as he's definitely got a scoring threat to him, and they're looking to unlock that.
All right, bit of an issue with the Grandville side of the clip, but if you listen to the game, you have an idea of roughly what happened. Let's meet East Kentwood a little bit here on the Bates Agency pregame show. Look at their comeback win against Rockford. Last time out for them. And you can see Christian Rembert here getting in on the defensive side of the floor, skying, helping get the jam. You're going to see the NFHS network cam had some issues keeping up all night long with the pace this team was working on the full court. Interestingly, Rockford started out of a 2-3 zone. It really forced East Kentwood to struggle a little bit. EK, their offense kind of ground down here. Daryl Tompkins Jr., their terrific sophomore guard, making the play. You see a lot of these plays on the defensive end of the floor. Christian Humphrey Rembert again. The block as CHR gets the hands extended and able to get the block. So the first half it was so defensive. You see a block here for Landon Storms, their 6'1 sophomore guard, played last year as a freshman off the bench. So the first half all about the defense, and then they started later in that first half to start to grind and find things offensively. Storms the triple from the wing here. Marshawn Flakes, highly athletic player, but here stepping out, getting the 3 off the drive and the dish from, again, that terrific sophomore point guard, Daryl Tompkins Jr. You'll see Tompkins will swing. He'll hit a 3 of his own as they're working the zone offense against the 2-3 zone defense for Rockford. Here, Tompkins, sophomore, this kid's special, reaches, drives, and is able to score on his own accord down the floor. Even though you didn't see it, he did score at the end of that play. Ja Hatchett, we've seen him before. Very, very terrific player, sophomore guard who led the way for them as a freshman a year ago. And then again, Christian Humphrey Rembert in the lane, the block, able to get involved at least defensively again with 3-4 blocks in the game. You see some of the stats from that game, the way they came back, especially that second half charge, even with kind of poor 3-point shooting, and the steals even 9-4. But here's Humphrey Rembert. This is from the Cornerstone tournament. This is his first game back with this team. Yikes. There aren't many players in West Michigan, look at this, that can do things like that, and that is exactly what Rembert and what East Kentwood brings to the table. They aren't clicking yet. That's the scary thing. Coach Thomas is just getting this elite player in. They're just starting to find their footing. You saw that with the slow start and the better finish against Rockford. When this team's rolling, I really think when you look at the course of the OK Red and a couple of losses for Rockford, and Hudsonville, of course, looks very good, but things are going to be shaken up like we expected. I don't want to say Grandville kind of carries the pressure for all of the Red tonight, but it feels like East Kentwood's only going to get better, and someone better beat them early to kind of slow some of the momentum. Otherwise, they have a chance to kind of quietly, I think, really take off within the Red.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that when you look at the improvement that could possibly be there on top of how good they already are. So, yeah, if you're going to take your best punch at them, it's going to have to be early on, and not that a team isn't going to knock them off later on as the season goes along, but, yeah, you start to get those guys gelling a little bit more. You get that chemistry with this elite talent where they're really working together as a complete team, something that they're looking to continue to build on. I think they definitely could really make some noise, but I think the Bulldogs have a chance off some disappointment to try to make a statement when you've got a team with this much hype like the Falcons.
Grandville plays close in every game, period, regardless. That's the one thing we know about Coach Young is it doesn't matter since we've seen him for these last year and a half. Even if his team is struggling offensively, they're in the game. Really outside of the two Northview games, which Northview is, of course, a special team the last couple of years, and East Kentwood may be trending that direction by, again, everyone's a junior and a sophomore, by the way, on this East Kentwood team, and I'm sure there's going to be more pieces added. As is life in high school and college sports nowadays, I'm sure Coach Thomas will be adding pieces in the off season as well, even more so. Like, this team's getting better, but this Grandville team, they always play you close. They always grind. They always do so many things. The question is then, where are the X factors where they can find something? Colin Highborn X Factor. This is a kid, the sophomore, that we really, really were excited about coming into the year. He was finding his footing. You have to get up to varsity speed, especially playing at the D1 level. Goes 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Use the size, good defense as well. If they can get that kind of play they got out of Highborn on Tuesday night against Caledonia more consistently going forward, that's what they need. Yeah, I think you're looking anytime you can find another consistent scoring threat, the Bulldogs are going to take it, and I think Highborn is starting to find that role a little bit. You saw the first glimpse of it in the previous matchup, to where he can be a guy that can stretch the defense. For a couple seasons we've been asking now, you've got a scorer like Tyson Mann and Cam Regneris down low, but who's going to be that next option who can help to really spread the defense out a little bit more and open up some lanes for those guys? And I think you look at Highborn as the guy that can potentially do that. You look at, again, this is one of those things where now that people can watch the same things we're watching for in warm-ups, you just take a look at Christian Humphrey Rembert, who is on the near side of the floor right here. It's just such a unique guy, and it's something the Bulldogs don't have much of an answer for. The question is, how do you answer for it? I think Cam Regneris is going to have a special day probably. Now, the problem is Rembert plays on the perimeter, but he's the closest thing they have to a big inside. Regneris is going to have to be special. He had 10 points in the first half and then really quieted down in the second half against Caledonia. I think you're going to need a big-time, complete 32-minute performance and probably on the floor for 29 of them from Cam Regneris tonight. Yeah, and Cam Regneris has always brought the intensity on the defensive end of the floor. He's a tremendous shot blocker. We'll see if those two are going to be matched up, if Regneris is going to have to be drawn out to guard the perimeter a little bit more as Rembert plays a little bit more out on the wing. But I think those two guys both have a ton of length. Are going to be going back and forth, and that's going to be an intense matchup the entire night. No, I totally agree, and agree for obvious reasons. It's going to be fascinating. Take me through, Chandler, lastly, to wrap up the Bates Agency pregame show here. For Coach Young, what are the things that Grandville has to do? We know what East County wants to do, how they're going to run, and how they want the things to flow. For Grandville, what do you have to do? Because you have to try to keep this thing in the half court, and you have to try to keep things smart. Yeah, you really can't allow the Falcons to get out and run. I think, it's just playing smart and not turning the basketball over, of course. And I think they have the ability. We've seen the lockdown man-to-man defense. They've got multiple defenders that they trust, and so it's putting the complete game together. I think you saw it against Caledonia too. For 2-3 quarters, they're looking really solid. They've able to lock things down, and then it's just avoiding that second half letdown, the third, fourth quarter letdown. When it gets difficult to put a complete game together with that much defensive intensity, especially when you've got as many players that have attacking and scoring ability as East Kentwood does. But I think you've seen flashes of it from the Bulldogs, and they've been there. They've been able to keep themselves in a lot of games and looking to do so again. After 3 years of people incessantly bugging me, when is it going to happen? It's a Grandville basketball game with video on Michigan game night, and it's going to be a very, very fun one to say the least. It's been the Bates Agency pregame show. We will be right back.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast. And that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
All right, welcome back. Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer, Timmer with you. Kind of worked out. They had some delays with the audio on the national anthem, so we got all of it here. And we welcome you back for start of fun when EK girls open up the night with the W. And now we're going to take a look at what's going to be a high-flying and fun matchup in this one. Head coach Desmond Young for the Bulldogs in his second season. It'll be the senior 5'11" guard Tyson Mann getting the start in the backcourt alongside the senior guard Quentin Hendrickson up front. The Bulldogs will have the junior wing, Logan Stockwell, or the senior wing, I should say, Logan Stockwell getting the start. And up front, the Bulldogs will have the 6'8" junior Cam Regneris and the 6'4" junior Corbin Hackman. Head coach Mike Thomas. It's his first season at the helm of the Falcons, but of course a well-traveled man and a well-accomplished man at the high school ranks in the state of Michigan, a three-time state champion, including with Grand Blanc last year, or at least at the Breslin Center last year. And in the championship game, they fell to De La Salle, looking for back-to-back titles a year ago. For EK, it'll be the sophomore guard Daryl Tompkins Jr. getting the start, along with a fourth-year senior forward at 6'8", Jair Harris. 6'1" junior guard will start on the wing, Marshawn Flakes. Ja Hatchett, terrific 5'10" sophomore guard, gets the start for Coach Thomas. And, of course, on the wing, the 6'9" junior who gets the introduction wearing 35 in those traveling black uniforms, Christian Humphrey Rembert, the man to watch, along with Cam Regneris, both right in about that 6'7", 6'8" range. They play different styles. They'll be the leading men. But then the question also are the guards to go along with the pace of the game will work at. Tyson Mann gets his introduction for the Bulldogs. The senior, I think, is going to have one of the games of his career if the Bulldogs are going to be able to counter the East Kentwood attack.
Yeah, I think a big bounce-back opportunity for Tyson Mann, a game to try to prove that he can be a leading scorer for this team. I think you've seen it from time to time, and of course you know the potential that Tyson Mann has, but in a difficult matchup here against a team that has a lot of hype like what East Kentwood Falcons do, a chance to prove it again here at home.
Home whites with Grandville and script across the chest for the Bulldogs, the black with the red trimming for East Kentwood. Falcons will move it right to left across your screen. The Bulldogs move it left to right to start. Regneris, Humphrey Rembert on the jump. And this is where you see that Humphrey Rembert certainly is all of 6'8", 6'9", as he'll match up against Cam, who's listed based on where you look at 6'7", 6'8". And Humphrey Rembert over top him. 10 D1 offers for Rembert, and he wins back the tip. And it'll be the sophomore, Daryl Tompkins Jr., going to work, swinging it to Hatchet and back. Bulldogs open with a 2-3 zone. This is not something we have ever seen out of Coach Young's team. We know the issues EK had against the zone against Rockford on Tuesday. The Bulldogs go to it. A score from Flakes and a mistake and a turnover, and EK takes back over, but that is quite the twist right there.
Yeah, you know, the thought went through my mind that would the Bulldogs go as crazy to run a zone when we know how good their defense has been in man-to-man, and right away they go to it, but a good approach from the Falcons to get a basket in the mid-range.
Flakes can attack that mid-range game so well, and the Bulldogs will set up the zone one more time right here. Tompkins fakes the three. Here is CHR swinging to the sophomore guard, Ja Hatchet. Flakes in the elbow. Hatchet with space, triple try Tompkins. No, off the front rim, race to the rebound. It's going to go out off of the charging Hendrickson. The Bulldogs still hemmed into their own side of the floor. 7:22 in the first, 2-0. The early basket from Flakes, and the Bulldogs really changing things up. A coach that never runs zone, opens in zone, and now the Bulldogs will look a little bit more man with the approach and fade into more to this kind of switching look, and back now into the man. Hatchet spins on man, and the sophomore gets the touch and scores. So much talent everywhere, CT. That's really what comes to the table here, is the Falcons will pressure in the full court all game long.
Yeah, pretty good defense from Tyson Mann, staying there, trying to stay in front of Hatchet, but just a tough contested lay-in.
Mann stops and feeds for Stockwell. East Kentwood again, it's high pressure, it's half court. It's not necessarily a half court press, but it's just a very high pressure man defense. Stockwell in the corner for Heckman. Mann with space, tries the three with Tompkins closing and scores. Good start for Tyson after he was held off the score sheet against Caledonia. Mann able to burst the gym to his feet, and the Bulldogs get within one early, and they go back to the switching zone. Humphrey Rembert in the wing, held only 2 points against Rockford. Drive and a no-look feed to Hatchet from Tompkins into the Bulldog bench. EK keeps it. 6:21 first quarter, 4-3.
Yeah, huge for Tyson Mann right away to get his first look to go in. Has the open look from beyond the arc, steps into it and able to knock it down. That's got to be a good feeling to build some confidence for Tyson Mann.
Daryl Tompkins Jr., they list him as a 6'3 sophomore guard, but it looks like he may be a little bit under that as he faces up against the 5'11 Tyson Mann. Hatchet skips to the corner and got it back here to the terrific sophomore Tompkins Jr. Flakes working the soft spot of the zone. No-look feed and a right-hand finish from Jair Harris. We've seen Harris for 4 years in his entire varsity or entire high school career. We've seen him up at the varsity level, and the Bulldogs break the pressure to the corner. Knocked out and will stay with Grandville. At last touched Marshawn Flakes. 5:48 first quarter, 6-3 Grandville. Or East Kentwood, I should say, at Grandville.
Falcons able to get the defense scrambling, and then a nice cut to underneath the basket by Harris. Still had to try to make the reverse layup. Not an easy look for him to make, because he was very much underneath the basket, but able to get it to go.
You can kind of see probably as about a full of a Grandville home side as we've seen all year long. Corner, Hendrickson with space three, falls short. The Bulldogs have got to find a way to knock some of those down. Good work from Logan Stockwell. The burst of emotion after the finish in Grandville within one. Flakes off a Bulldog foot, diving on the floor. Hendrickson, Stockwell to run and slow it down. EK not in the Bulldog's face, of course, off misses, not able to do it quite as much, and that's going to be critical. Limit makes, limit full court opportunities defensively. Tyson Mann driving on Flakes. Nice job to regather by Tyson. Swung from Hendrickson out of the reach of Stockwell. Bad turnover You cannot make the unforced error. I mean, not an unforced error. The pressure's there, but it's those type of errors after you get it in the half-court set the Bulldogs cannot afford tonight.
Yeah, it's a turnover far away from the basket as they were looking to swing it around Hendrickson, just trying to get it over to Stockwell, and Stockwell not cutting back as far as what Hendrickson thought, and a turnover well away from the basket.
Tompkins Jr. and Hatchett each on their own volition, probably two of the best point guards in West Michigan, both on the same team. Tompkins going to work and scoring. The stutter and the finish from Daryl Tompkins Jr. 8-5 EK, they bring the pressure.
Tompkins, his ability to break down the defender on his own there and then hit the tough mid-range look.
Stockwell, all alone triple, no. And the rebound, Humphrey Rembert. Ja Hatchett with some pace for Rembert. Swung to Tompkins Jr. Corner, flakes, denies, drives, kicks to Hatchett with space over top of man, no. The rebound will stay alive with Jair Harris. Turning and working, great defense, Cam Regneris. Quentin Hendrickson to run. Straight to the basket, floater, yes, go to work by Quentin. Takes it coast to coast, Grandville back within a score, 8-7. Bulldogs running with them early. First 4 minutes of the first quarter gone.
Nice job by Hendrickson. Didn't have the numbers. It was a 1-on-2, but the hesitation to where the defender had to respect the pass to the corner just enough.
Wild pass finds its way to Harris. He'll dribble it out of bounds with a power dribble. The zone stays on, and that just really continues to be one thing. Like you said, you wonder, like, oh, will they go to it? But Coach Young tells us pretty explicitly every time we talk to him in interviews, I'm a man guy. I love coaching man defense. That's what he likes to run. You know, and even if it's full court man, maybe once he has kind of bigger numbers based on the team he has. But the zone, look, off the success that Rockford had with the zone in the first half, the Bulldogs certainly going to it here. Jaden Bowman, sophomore guard, checks in for EK, along with Ardace Morris. Man up the floor, gets away from Hatchett to the corner with Stockwell. Across Hendrickson, they have space against this aggressive defense and the foul on Ardace Morris. And that's going to be the thing. If the Bulldogs can beat the pressure, if they can get the half court and they can swing the ball against all the pressure and the doubles they bring, there's going to be open threes. You have to make the open threes. That's been an issue for the Bulldogs, but that's going to be the key of the offense. Just get in the half court and then go to work.
Yeah, and the shot fake from Hendrickson there. Might have been able to launch a three, but able to get the shot fake and the foul.
And one. Travel. They get Regneris on the travel, working on Humphrey Rembert, who immediately turned to the official looking for the call and got it. So a good move, but a little bit of a stutter from Cam Regneris will deny it over top of Christian Humphrey Rembert as he was looking to win that battle. Neither on the score sheet so far. Ardace Morris against the 2-3 zone. Humphrey Rembert for Hatchett. Back to Humphrey Rembert with space. Three over top of Tyson Mann. Nearly missed the rim. Short rebound to Hendrickson, and Regneris give him a half rebound each on the fight for the ball. 8-7 East Kentwood. 3:02 in the first. Hendrickson defended by Ja Hatchett. To Tyson Mann. Had the three to open the scoring for the Bulldogs. Cam Regneris down to Heckman. Nice finish. And he got it. Bulldogs on top. Corman Heckman's first of the game. Balanced scoring for the Bulldogs. Doing it all.
They get Heckman on the post up. They're fronting the post, and a pass from Regneris over the top. Lofted it in perfectly for Heckman to catch and go right up with the basketball.
Ja Hatchett calling out the play. The Bulldogs sitting in the 2-3 zone. Christian Humphrey Rembert from Morris for Hatchett. Turnaround shot flakes. Yes. Whew, he is dangerous in the mid-range game. He's got a couple from there.
It's so important against the zone that the Bulldogs have been running, that mid-range area where they can get him in that area.
Man flying, blocked off the backboard. CHR put back. Regneris, no, out of bounds. East Kentwood ball. Here comes Hybor in for Stockwell as those sub-wings. 2:14 in the first, 10-9 East Kentwood. Good start for the Bulldogs, kind of staying with this charged-up EK team. And a huge mental error from the combination of Bowman and Hatchett along the baseline. Bowman was starting to throw it into Hatchett, who didn't see it. Bowman put his right foot down, straddled, and Grandville take the ball back over on the violation underneath the offensive hoop.
Yeah, an unforced error from the Falcons is not on the same page on the entry pass. No pressure there, but just a bad pass and a miscommunication.
Man, lobs for Regneris. Had to use all of his 6'8 frame to get that one. Hendrickson around the screen, stops and feeds for Tyson. He'll try a deep three. Yes, sir! 12-10 Bulldogs. Man was 6.
I think some of our questions about Tyson Mann being answered early on. He looks aggressive here tonight. Hit a three earlier. Now his second of the night. having a little bit of room and knocking it down.
Hatchet across the floor for CHR. Back to Ja Hatchet. He thought about a deep one of his own. Ardace Morris. Up top, wild feed from Harris, nearly stolen by Hendrickson. Hatchet to work. Left hand finish is good. We're tied at 12. Back and forth we go. Final 90 seconds, first quarter. This is going to be a fun one.
Hatchet is a special player. He's a true star last year already, but then I think has a tendency to maybe get overshadowed with Humphrey Rembert, but he's still a very good player.
Offensive foul, illegal screen, Cam Regneris. He was turning a little. Good work by Hatchet to make sure the contact sent him down as well. And EK takes back over, and again, Grandville sets up the zone. 12-12 with a minute 20 in the first. Such a fascinating twist, though, that zone for Grandville. Of all the things I expected, while it kind of worked for Rockford, and Rockford held them to 51, still in the game. Interesting to see, and Grandville sticks with it here. Bulldogs also have only made that one lone substitution with Highbore. Hatchet gets the screen, tries to drive into the teeth of the defense. Ardace Morris over top of Tyson Mann, yes. Ardace Morris scores and makes it a 15-12 game. Tyson Mann all the way up the floor. Kicks corner. Highbore. Triple try from the sophomore. No good. Racing to the rebound. Hendrickson. Put back. Regneris. No good. Battles with Humphrey Rembert. And the ball to Jair Harris. So pulling it down, and EK will up the pace and now slow it down with Ja Hatchet. Final 30 seconds of the first. EK by 3. Coach Thomas and Coach Young going to work against each other as their teams go to work. Hatchet lobs for Flakes. Out of bounds. Granville ball. Another mistake in the half court from East Kentwood.
Bulldogs defense able to get a stop there, get one more chance here to try to get a bucket and maybe tie the game up before the end of the first quarter.
Man pressured by Hatchet, forced to pick up the dribble, got it to Hendrickson. All over him from behind was Morris there. And that is going to be a timeout from Coach Young on a sloppy exchange up the floor. They don't want to give away that possession. 10.5 first quarter, 15-12. EK will be right back. This one has been a ton of fun so far.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter future.
Tyson Mann with the ball, back underway, final 4 seconds. Mann crossing, working along to, will not fall, and that will end the first frame of play. 15-12. Grandville trails after one. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS-HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. All right, welcome in here to Vanderslice Gymnasium in our first quarter break. That was fun. That was running. Some things that surprised you. Grandville running a little bit on offense, trying to stay with it. Grandville goes to the zone on defense. Some miscues from EK, but for the most part, a good matchup where Grandville is kind of playing EK's game. Yes, they're using the zone. Yes, they're trying to slow it down, but a little surprising the way that this one's been contested and the fact that we're within a score.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things we didn't see coming. One thing we did expect was a lot of energy, and there was that in the first quarter. But as you said, some unknowns. The Bulldogs throwing out that zone look, something you probably wouldn't have guessed coming into the game, and it's at times giving the Falcons some trouble. You saw it in the matchup that they had against Rockford. You just didn't know would the Bulldogs be willing to go to something like that when you've got a potential matchup advantage, but it kind of goes against what your system is, and they're choosing to do so. I think we're going to see them probably switch in and out of it a little bit, just try to confuse the Falcons as much as possible, because Falcons do have some three-point shooters that they can hurt you with, and that's how they came back in that second half. But I think just mixing up the looks and something unprepared that they weren't expecting to see from the Bulldogs.
One substitution as we head in the second frame. It's Ryder Haight in for the Bulldogs. Stockwell also back in here as he returns to the floor. Stockwell reaching in, fouled by Marshawn Flakes there, and that's a little bit of the pressure of what East Kentwood brings. And I mean, not many fouls called. That's a big part of why this game was able to be conducted in the way it was conducted in the first frame of play. That's foul number 1 on Flakes, foul number 2 on EK. Stockwell to throw in. Here's Tyson Mann. Hit a couple of triples in the first quarter of play for the Bulldogs. Ja Hatchett all over, grabbing on that arm even a little bit. Here's Stockwell, corner Tyson Mann. He's got a little bit of space, and he'll trigger and he'll hit. Trio of triples, Tyson Mann tied at 15.
Tyson Mann feeling it early on, hand in his face that time, still able to knock it down. That's 9 points, 3 triples for him early.
9 for Tyson. And the Bulldogs back to the zone. Lob for Humphrey Rembert. He wanted to jam on the alley-oop but couldn't handle. And the Bulldogs with a chance to take the lead. Hatchett all over Stockwell. Heckman still in the backcourt, gets it over to Tyson Mann. First minute gone in the second frame. Mann, nice feed to Ryder Haight. Haight stopped in the double. Kicks corner, all alone. Mann again. Oh, it just rolls out and Flakes the rebound. This place would have lost it. Hard pass settled down by Jair Harris. Harris across to Tompkins Jr. Bulldogs swinging that zone around. Flakes will throw it over to Hatch. A little bit of confusion even in his face facing up against the zone. Here's Harris to Humphrey Rembert, who's been held very quiet early off the score sheet again. Spin, drive, and unable to get the finish. Daryl Tompkins Jr. What a move, but he can't get the finish. Tied at 15 still.
A tremendous move from Tompkins to reverse momentum and use that spin move to create an opening for himself. Just tough bounce off the back of the iron.
Tyson Mann working here, top of the key. Nice move, got the defender away. Can't finish from about 19 feet. Ja Hatchett going coast to coast. Dumps Humphrey Rembert, foul, offensive foul on Hatchett. Bulldogs ball. Tyson Mann down to the floor to draw it. Third team foul on EK. 6:09 in the second.
Tyson Mann able to get back off the mid-range miss, getting back defensively, understanding Hatchett going to be aggressive, has the ability to get to the rim, able to set his feet and draw the charge.
Tompkins Jr. knocks it away from Tyson, and Tyson will box him out to the out-of-bounds line. Bulldogs take it back over. Again, the Falcons here bringing the pressure. They'll double Tyson out of the backcourt. Now he'll be faced up defensively by Daryl Tompkins Jr. Mann stops backcourt, feeds over to Ryder Haight. The pressure all over. Haight to Mann. Mann settles it down away from Flakes. Reaching pass, Regnerus, skies, bottom of the rim, no, put back, yes, and one. Cam Regnerus on Jair Harris. The Bulldogs on top, 17-15. A hard finish from the junior.
Regnerus has had a couple looks right underneath the basket. Had yet to get into the box score. He's been a little bit strong on some of his looks, but able to get it to go in there. He's been working hard underneath the basket. Most of his opportunities have came off some offensive rebounds and some second chances. Really not a ton of true post touches for him to this point.
Well-earned arrest for Tyson Mann. Here's Regnerus at the line. Misses that short. That has been a continuous Achilles heel early on in this season in the juniors game. Flakes to tie, blocked off the backboard Regnerus, but a foul is going to be called. And I think it's going to be on the floor. However, maybe not. They're going to send Flakes actually to the line.
Yeah, I think Regnerus was clean on that play. It was Hendrickson who was more underneath the play, really. Regnerus went up to contest the shot, and it was the foul on Hendrickson lower.
First one misses for Flakes. That's the second team foul on the Bulldogs. First on Quinn Hendrickson. One more for Flakes. He gets one of two. Bulldogs stay on top by a point. 5 for Flakes. Miscommunication. Hendrickson misses Heckman. And that's a little bit of what the Bulldogs are missing with Tyson Mann on the bench. We've seen the Bulldogs close down the rotation a little bit. They've only gone 7 deep right now in this one. Despite the pace of the game, that's where maybe some of the concerns for the second half comes into and why they have to try to slow it down if they aren't going to go quite as deep as EK, who will go 8-9 deep. Terrific sophomore guard, Hatchet, working on Ryder. Haight along the baseline, reverse block, Cam Regnerus. With man out, he's going to have to step up here both ends of the floor.
Yeah, Hatchet trying to go along the baseline, and Regnerus just looming the entire time, waiting for that reverse layup to go up.
Haight, nice feed, all alone, Heckman, yes. Bulldogs by 3. If there's that much pressure in the trap, someone's going to be open. Heckman gets the finish. Haight reaches on the floor, crashing Hendrickson the ball. Bulldogs have it with Heckman. 4:56 second quarter, Grandville by 3. Hendrickson for Stockwell for Cam Regnerus. Spins on Humphrey Rembert and scores.
There's the post touch for Regnerus where he's able to set himself up to get the entry pass. Then he goes to work. That's where he's at his best.
That's a top level 10 offer D1 player that Cam goes to work on there. And the Bulldogs lead at 21-16. Christian Humphrey Rembert, triple try. Yes. First of the game for CHR.
Rembert making him pay. He's been left open a couple times, missed the first one. That time able to knock it down.
Lob to Regnerus, saved by Haight. Stolen and then saved back to the Bulldogs by Humphrey Rembert. 3 for Stockwell. No, off the back iron. Rebound to Jair Harris. Final 4 of the second. Tompkins Jr. rocking against the zone, stopping and feeding Christian Humphrey Rembert, and then Ja Hatchet. CHR triple. No, misses it all strong, but a long rebound to Hatchet. Hatchet drives. Feed stolen, Heckman, another turnover from East Kentwood. Hendrickson to run, floater strong, rebound, Haight put back over top of Humphrey Rembert, yes. This place is really ready to explode if it isn't already. 23-19 Grandville.
Yeah, Haight just sitting back, he was waiting there, but with Humphrey Rembert going up, knew he wasn't going to out-jump him to get to the basketball. And off the mishandled basketball, Haight just able to get it and put it in.
EK slowing it way down here to Hatchet. Up top for Daryl Tompkins Jr. 3 for Marshawn Flakes. No. Rebound, Jair Harris. They'll get another chance against the zone. 3:09 second quarter, 23-19. First time Coach Young has ever run a zone in his time at Grandville. Drive from Tompkins. No look feed. Marshawn Flakes, no. On the bunny. Put back, yes. Flakes able to get his 7th point of the game on that one. Steal, foul. Ja Hatchet. But Flakes couldn't get the first, stays with it, got the second. He's been terrific for EK, leads them in scoring for a reason.
Yeah, tremendous behind the back pass.
Well, and that.
To get Flakes going to the left side. A little short on the first one, but able to get his own rebound, and the second chance goes. Then Hatchet kind of selling out there. He was going for the steal, knew he was going to risk potentially getting a foul, and after that one, going to sit on the bench for a little bit.
Rasheed Watkins, Tyson Mann into the game, and they're on each other right here. EK brings the full court man pressure on Tyson Mann. Mann stops against the trap, finds Hendrickson. Hendrickson for Tyson Mann. 2:45 second quarter, Grandville by 2. Hendrickson fouled by Jair Harris. Starting to get a few more of those reaches and high pressure calls right now. 2:42 second quarter, Grandville by 2. Coach Thomas goes further in his bench. Junior forward Jaden Wheeler will check in as Harris gets a well-earned rest off his second foul. He's been all over the place. That's 16 fouls right now on EK, by the way. At the elbow, Hendrickson feeds Regnerus on Humphrey Rembert. Lost it. Grandville keeps it. They are not afraid to go right at Humphrey Rembert with Cam Regnerus right now.
Yeah, they trust that matchup on the offensive end when Regnerus much more comfortable in the post area, and you can see them already pushing a little bit.
They find Cam in the corner. He'll swing it to Ryder Haight. Back to Tyson Mann. He's got a trio of triples early. He's trapped. Mann finds Haight somehow against the pressure. Now he's trapped all over the place. East Kentwood half-court defense. Out of bounds. Grandville keeps it. EK faithful maybe want it going back the other way, but this half-court trap upping the intensity right now. Grandville has to be ready for it.
Yeah, the double team coming on Tyson Mann there and just scrambling, gets it to Haight, and he's also trapped up trying to get the basketball out of there. You've got numbers, you know you do elsewhere if you can get it out of there.
This has been such a fantastic rivalry over the years. It hasn't quite had the juice it's used to have a few years ago. Juice coming back tonight. Mann across Highbore. Hendrickson, the pressure is upped. 2:07 in the second. 23-21 Grandville. Highbore corner, Ryder Haight. Mann Feeds Regnerus, turns, skies, scores! Over top of Christian Humphrey Rembert. It's Regnerus again. He's got 6. The Bulldogs lead by 4.
Regnerus going to work in the second quarter. Able to get another move and a nice spin move, create some separation for himself, and then go up over Humphrey Rembert.
Marshawn Flakes in the corner. Feeds for Watkins and around to Daryl Tompkins Jr. No looking back and around. Maybe a chance for Humphrey Rembert there. Didn't take the shot. Nice move. Tompkins Jr. can't get the finish. Ripped away by Cam Regnerus. 1:20 to go in the first half. 25-21 Grandville. Bulldogs defense coming to play as well right now against this East Kentwood offense. It's averaging nearly 60. Man, yes, sir, again. 4 triples, Tyson Mann, 28-21.
I love to see the aggressiveness from Tyson Mann. He's been quick on the trigger here tonight, making the Falcons pay. Now 4 triples. So even on the looks that he hasn't hit, you like to see him take that. He's a tremendous shooter and has value on the offensive end when he's able to shoot the basketball like that.
Yeah, he was looking to create a lot against Caledonia, especially early when the offense was going. It's why he didn't quite get into a rhythm. He is putting them up and putting them down. Tompkins Jr. the drive, reverse layup score. Whips the hands free and finished. Tompkins Jr. with 4. Grandville by 5. Final 30. Man trapped, finds Regnerus, spins ahead to Hendrickson. Corner Haight. Haight, Regnerus. Regnerus blocked away by Rasheed Watkins. EK to run, Marshawn Flakes. Flakes to the lane, fouled, and he'll go to the line for a couple. Good chance there for Regnerus, but it's pretty much the smallest guy in their rotation that denies the Bulldogs' biggest man.
Regnerus crashing through the lane. Looked like he had to turn his body enough as he was trying to gather that pass in to where he couldn't get a clean run towards the basket. He couldn't get enough to get behind that jump and really elevate towards the rim.
First one good for Flakes. He's got 8. He leads East Kentwood in scoring. Heckman and Stockwell in for Hendrickson and Haight. 17 seconds on the clock, second quarter. So Grandville likely set to take a lead into the halftime break. One more from Marshawn Flakes, leading scorer for the Falcons. Unable to convert there. High poked out rebound goes to Flakes. Final 15. EK now will hold for the final shot. Coach Thomas up from his chair to coach. Tompkins Jr. with 8. Tompkins Jr. with 6. No look feed. Out of bounds. Jaden Wheeler, that was close. Just gets a piece of the baseline. 2.7, 28-24. We'll see what Grandville can draw up at the buzzer. Here's Mann, he'll dribble it out. All right, Bulldogs take it to the half with the lead, 28-24. And that was about as much fun as we've had in this gym in a few years. I'm glad that this is the night that we're breaking out the video coverage again, because that was a terrific, terrific first half of basketball, and it's only going to get better in the second half. Centennial Securities halftime show. Nate and Chandler. All right, CT. I mean, that was quite the game. I mean, despite the pace, the Grandville defense good. Again, the Grandville defense using a zone. I mean, as they have been all game long, we haven't ever seen Coach Young utilize. The Bulldogs' offense is flowing tonight. I mean, yeah, they only scored 28, but it's flowing better than that, just the way this game has gone. Let's start with Tyson Mann. 4 triples, turbocharging the Bulldog attack.
Yeah, he's got off to a hot start early. Has a couple triples in each quarter, 2 in each, and you can tell right from the get-go he was out to prove a point tonight. I think maybe frustrated with how the previous game had went, and early on making a statement that he was going to be a scoring threat here and knocking down some crucial shots.
At the same time, Christian Humphrey Rembert only had 2 against Rockford, only 3 so far, and he's mostly been held out of it. When he's had shots, it's been 3s at the perimeter. He has never gotten a run at the basket outside of 1 missed alley-oop, so no slashing to the basket. No really handling the ball and trying to make something happen. The Bulldogs have certainly answered the call on one of the top players in the area.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe what some of the area teams are finding out about this zone defense, that they can throw at the Falcons, that if you've got multiple players for East Kentwood that can attack and slash to the basket, if you go into that zone and force them to shoot over top of you, you're probably going to get hurt occasionally, but I think right now teams are choosing to make them hit that 3 over top rather than having players with D1 potential attack the basket and go over top of you.
They hit the 3s in the third quarter against Rockford. They put up nearly 30 in that game, but again, I mean, you look at past trends. Who is someone that does use a zone and go slow at times? Head coach John Jokaj at Warren D. LaSalle, who beat Grand Blanc and Coach Thomas in the state championship game last year. just a little bit of a note maybe to think about from that match. By the way, talking about big level basketball, I haven't announced this yet, or I haven't said it yet. The first of the 2K23 showcase events at Aquinas. It's January 28th, the Saturday. All 4 games. Michigan Game Night will be there for those games. South Christian's playing. Unity Christian's playing Detroit Martin Luther King. That'll be fun and fast. Rockford is playing Grand Blanc at the end of the night. So really good games. RJ Taylor, a D1 player for Grand Blanc. So that's going to be really fun. I haven't announced that yet, I think, officially. But, yeah, the 28th, the first of the showcase events that Brandon Guyton and company put on. We will be there for all 4 games that day. So that is certainly going to be a ton of fun that day. All right, a lot to still get to here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Grandville by 4 at the break. We will be right back.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings. College coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here. It is the Centennial Securities Halftime Show, 28-24. Grandville leads East Kentwood at the half of a very fun one so far. Energy's up in the gym. CT, give us our scoring recap from the first half.
All right, yeah, for East Kentwood, leading the way Flakes with 8, 4 for Tompkins Jr., as well as 4 for Hatchett, 3 for Morris, and 3 for Humphrey Rembert. On the Bulldogs side, leading the way, all scorers, Tyson Mann, 12 points, 6 for Regneris, 4 for Heckman, and then 2 apiece for Hendrickson, Stockwell, and Height.
So we mentioned Tyson Mann. We talked about Christian Humphrey Rembert. How about the leading man for EK, Marshawn Flakes? This team has been struggling for certain. You know, Flakes, it's his effort, it's his ability to score in the mid-range. He's kind of the guy that has gotten them out of positions when sometimes the offense has gotten stagnant. They've been on a bad possession. He's found a way to score at the end of a bad possession.
Yeah, his ability to make the mid-range jumpers is going to be the answer to the zone defense. When that middle area, that's when they got him some looks early on. He's able to hit those tough turnaround faders. That's what's going to be the potential end to the zone defense if they're able to get him the basketball in the middle of the zone and then also hit some of their threes around him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, game-wide, the question is, I mean, if you're Coach Young, you have to stay with the zone, right? I mean, to start the second, I mean, you have to continue to use it until they find that they truly can beat it, and the Bulldogs have been hyper-efficient. By the way, if he can coach this good of a zone, can we see this more often maybe? I mean, it's been real. This is a darn good zone defense, the way they're swinging, the way they're contesting everything. You got a couple open threes, but for the most part, lane shut down against some super highly, that's the main thing. You're talking about super highly athletic, highly skilled players that EK has, and they've shut it down. I mean, this is a very impressive zone they're running. This is a zone of a team that you think runs it all the time.
Yeah, it really is amazing. I think I have to talk to Coach Young and see if this is something they've been working on all season long.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is something they've picked up in a week's time, that's impressive. You don't just do that and have success usually. So I think either a tremendous coaching job or this is something they've kind of been keeping in the back pocket all along. But I think, I mean, you have to go back to it. As long as it keeps working, I think, the game plan probably is to run this zone defense, and as long as it works, you don't need to change from it. But I think you always got that man-to-man defense that you can switch it up at some point.
Well, the only thing is, what else does he have? Do they have a diamond one press? Do they have a 1-3-1 maybe? Maybe they're going to break out a 1-3-1 or a 1-2. Like, who knows what he maybe has up his sleeve from the way that first half goes. Yeah, I mean, pace of the game interesting, I think, when you look at how it was played in that regard, because the scoring is lower. The pace was high, but also it wasn't that high. It was a game of running to the half court. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I think both teams trying to get the ball on bounds quickly. You've seen some ball pressure as they bring it up in the backcourt. And then locking it down in the half court as well. But I think both teams have the ability to run, but neither team was willing to go all out the entire time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that intensity gets up in the second half. All right, one more break here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. About 2 minutes away from getting it back underway. Grandville by 4 over EK at the half.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car. And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Thanks for tuning in to the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Nate and CT back with you. 28-24, Grandville the lead at the half. It was a lot of fun, and I can only imagine the second half is going to get better. The one thing I want to talk about with Coach Young is he mentioned in our preseason interview how important it was to him to turn Grandville into a basketball community again. And I think he is dealing with something that most schools don't have to deal with, which is a hockey program that is among the top 5 hockey programs year after year in the state of Michigan that are oftentimes playing on Fridays as well. The energy here tonight, how packed the home side, the student section are, this is a good first step. And then if they win a game like this with the energy was competing in a game like this, that's a good first step towards building Grandville significantly on the basketball side of things.
Yeah, I think it's huge to get big games like this. You get the community out, get the crowd support, and get some big games on your side. And if you're able to get a couple leads to go your way against some rival schools, definitely going to be building some momentum and getting the attention around your program in a hurry.
By the way, final Friday night of the season, Rockford's coming here. Just circle that already. All right, Marshawn Flakes will start it. Over to Daryl Tompkins Jr. Same lineups that opened the game will open the second half, and the Bulldogs open in the zone, and the Falcons swing it around against the zone. Stolen by Tyson Mann, and he's fouled at center floor. Mann jumps out of the zone. One of the first times we've seen them aggressively jump out of that zone for a steal, and Tyson at minimum draws the foul right there, but he was thinking 2.
Yeah, Tyson Mann would have had easy breakaway. Not a bad foul from East Kentwood, but just a lackadaisical pass coming out of halftime. You think they'd have an approach to trying to break that 2-3 zone, and instead an easy steal for Tyson Mann in the middle of the court.
Interesting. It was just kind of the old, like, swinging around the perimeter attack coming out of the half against the zone right there. Stockwell, good ball moving around to Hendrickson. Hendrickson lost the handle and stolen by Marshawn Flakes. Flakes to run. Blocked by Hendrickson, stolen by Tyson Mann. Good work by the Bulldogs. They'll throw it on to Hendrickson. Hendrickson drives, jumps a wild pass. Good work. Settled by Regnerus and scores. Grandville by 6.
Wild sequence going back and forth, a couple turnovers, but a nice pass from Hendrickson to find a window to get that pass to Regnerus.
Christian Humphrey Rembert off the mark. Hendrickson the ball. He continues to struggle. Just 3, coming off only 2 against Rockford. Feed to Cam Regnerus. It's CHR on him. Stockwell, corner, all alone. No, straight off that front rim. Had a good look at it. First minute of the third gone. Ja Hatchett with space. Misses it all. And the rebound on the floor. Regnerus went down on it. He and Humphrey Rembert get tied up, and Tyson Mann somehow comes out of it. He's then trapped. No foul through all of that contact. And EK and CHR tries a mid-range jumper, no. Rebound Ja Hatchett, another opportunity to the basket, no. Rebound Stockwell. And finally, the Bulldogs get it out of there after all of that.
Somehow able to avoid any damage there, too. At one point, 2-on-1, Regnerus, the only Bulldog back, able to hold his ground, force the mid-range jumper from Rembert.
Oh, Flakes ties up with Mann. Bulldogs keep it on the alternating possession. Marshawn Flakes going to be the one that I think we talked about at halftime, I think is going to turbocharge what East Kentwood's trying to do. The rest of this team, you don't want to say they've been sitting back, but I don't think they've played as aggressively as what they maybe need to with what their style of play is. Flakes has been the one that has kind of said, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and really attack the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think he's the guy that's going to bring the intensity and try to will the rest of the team to play more of that style the rest of the way.
And he's matched up on Tyson Mann here. Foul called. I think we get Jair Harris for it. 6:07, second quarter. Check that's going to be Daryl Tompkins Jr. with his second foul and the second of the half on EK again. Coach Young and Coach Thomas each looking on. First year at the helm of the Falcons for head coach Mike Thomas. For head coach Desmond Young, this is year number 2 with the Bulldogs. Tyson Mann off the miss, gets the rebound. Mann finds Hendrickson. He drives and he's fouled by Ja Hatchett. So a couple quick fouls. Good work at least there by the Bulldogs. Try to draw those fouls, and that'll be very important down towards the end of the game. Now they have to make free throws. That's been an issue for the Bulldogs if they do get to that at the end of the game. That's 3 fouls, by the way, on Ja Hatchett. He'll stay out there. But interesting to watch. Again, he's still a young player as a sophomore. 3 fouls. Here's Regnerus on Humphrey Rembert into a triple team. Swung around for Mann with space triple. No, off the side of the backboard. Kind of forced it a little bit with the pressure coming from Ja Hatchett.
I might have rushed it just a little bit.
Tompkins Jr. drives and scores. What a job by Daryl Tompkins Jr. over top of Tyson Mann for 2. He's got 6.
Tompkins had to put some serious height on that one to get it over top of Regnerus, who was waiting there, waiting for that shot to go up.
Travel Tyson Mann. He got trapped, and now you're seeing the pressure up. You're seeing a couple sloppy plays from the Bulldogs on both ends of the floor. Have to be careful. I think the offense has to maintain its focus. They have to stay hyper-efficient offensively, and defensively cannot fall into mistakes. They do stick with the zone here. Tompkins Jr. off the make, feeds to Hatchett to the corner to Rembert. Swung back around. Drive. Oh, what a move, but can't get the finish. Daryl Tompkins Jr. commits the foul then on Heckman. He leads the game in big-time moves right now. EK faithful don't like the call because I think they would argue that Heckman maybe stuck the back end a little bit out to initiate the contact, but the foul will be foul number 3 on the sophomore guard, Daryl Tompkins Jr. So 3 on Tompkins Jr. and 3 on Ja Hatchett. Corner all alone, Stockwell 3, misses it all, but Hendrickson the board. Swung to Mann. Tyson Mann drives, pull up J, no. Rebound goes EK's way.
Yeah, Hendrickson off the air ball. Nice vision, though, a couple times now on that. He's been able to read it and crash along the baseline, preserve the possession for the Bulldogs. Ended up in another missed look, but getting a chance for the Bulldogs off a miss.
Again, Daryl Tompkins Jr., he had 9 points, 5 assists 2 steals against Rockford, has 6 in this one. Flakes jabbing and working. Tries a long, tough shot. Can't knock it down, but the board stays with EK. Humphrey Rembert. Got Stockwell to go up. They're going to say it was tipped. It'll stay with East Kentwood. 3 from the corner, no for Hatchett. Rebound to the Bulldogs, and Regnerus fouled hard as he's tackled and slung down by Jair Harris. 4:20 third quarter, 30-26. I'm going to just make a prediction this game's about to get hyper nasty.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like it's headed that way. I think both teams are starting to hear the crowd as well get a little disgruntled with some of the calls or non-calls. I think the Bulldogs are able to survive the first couple minutes here, but you can tell the momentum was shifting just a little bit towards the Falcons. I think Coach Young also has to be aggressive with some of his timeouts here, too. You can't let things spiral. This has been the second half, and the time when you've had some issues, I think you let it play out, but don't be afraid to call a timeout either.
Oh, what a move. Tyson Mann jumps and scores. 14 for Tyson, 32-26 Bulldogs.
And that's also big when he can knock down some shots, but then also attack off the bounce like that.
Deep 3. Darrell Tompkins Jr. off the mark. Rebound to Tyson Mann. Nathan Cobbs, by the way, came in for the first time, number 23 in black. Hendrickson, corner Heckman. He got it down to Regnerus. He'll turn and kick. Stockwell, 3, over top of Humphrey Rembert. Oh, good, he banked it in. I'm not sure he called bank on it, but he'll take it. 35-26, Bulldogs by 9.
Had the open look and got it to bank home. Nice recognition from Regnerus. Got the touch on the block and sees the numbers coming towards him. Able to swing it back out for a look for Stockwell.
Flakes finds Cobb. 3 for Humphrey Rembert. No, he continues to fight it. Just 3 points for Christian Humphrey Rembert. 3:14 third quarter, 35-26. Big chance for the Bulldogs to go up double digits. Mann followed by Hatchett. That's 4. 4 fouls on Ja Hatchett. And that is a sloppy foul from a sophomore right there. I mean, Hatchett, yes, he's a second-year player, but he's young, and now he has to leave the floor, and he hasn't left the floor yet. Andres Morris comes on in his place.
Hatchett and Mann been going at it most of the night. Hatchett trying to keep his feet in front of Tyson Mann. He's been trying to do that all night long, but nice job by Tyson Mann understanding Hatchett with foul trouble.
All right, timeout on the floor, 3:08 third quarter. Grandville by 9. We'll be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
All right, welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium here in Grandville High School. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. 35-26 with 3:08 in the third. Grandville the basketball. Kind of resetting some game notes. Foul trouble coming for Coach Thomas's EK squad. Darrell Tompkins Jr., the sophomore guard, with 3. His fellow sophomore guard, Ja Hatchett, off the floor with 4. It's an intense defense from East Kentwood. It's a handsy defense, and it has cost them.
Yeah, it's going to put them in a tough spot. They're going to have to try to battle through these middle minutes here, the third quarter and into the fourth, probably, as they're trying to buy some time and get some of those players back that really provide a defensive edge for them, but have gotten into some foul trouble.
All right, in the front court, the Bulldogs have, by the way, foul 6-0 in the second half right now, which is, again, the Grandville normally a pretty handsy defense of their own, but they've been playing a zone in this game. Heckman, stolen by Christian Humphrey Rembert, got the long arm out. He'll sprint it past Heckman. Humphrey Rembert to the basket, lost it, Grandville ball. He's forcing it. He is out of rhythm. He's been out of rhythm for a couple games straight. Again, a kid with 10 D1 offers, and he will give up the basketball here.
And Stockwell was setting up to try and get in front of him, and I think as he was going to potentially go to a Euro move, just lost control of the basketball.
Hendrickson in the wing. Quinton with 2 points right now for the Bulldogs. Finds Regnerus, working on Cobbs. Back to Quinton Hendrickson. He's got big Christian Humphrey Rembert on him. Nice up fake. Drive from Stockwell. Jumps and finishes. Logan Stockwell with 7. And a nice move bouncing through the lane for the finish. 37-26 Bulldogs by double digits. Hendrickson foul from behind on Flakes. He goes palms up. And that's the first foul of the half on the Bulldogs. That's 3 on Hendrickson.
Stockwell off the banked in three, able to use the shot fake to get opening and into the lane, and a nice move from him. Now Hendrickson, though, with those fouls, going to have to find the bench.
Ryder Haight will come in his place. 2:21 in the third quarter. Grandville by 11. Lobbed up to Humphrey Rembert. Swung to Morris. Back to CHR. Flakes will back it out here. Watched in the zone by Stockwell to the corner. Cobbs, Flakes. Tompkins Jr. working for Humphrey Rembert. Thought about maybe the step back shot. EK slowly working right now against the zone. Flakes to the basket. Tipped and blocked by Regnerus. Grandville basketball. That's what the Bulldogs will take. Slow possession. They never really got a good look until it was forced up late. 1:45 third quarter. Bulldogs by 11. What a quarter of play it's been for Coach Young's squad. Tyson Mann chased by Flakes to the basket. Oh, he can't get the touch on the finger roll. Tompkins Jr. fouled and tied up by Heckman. What a move by Mann. Just can't quite get that left hand finished on the roll.
Yeah, so close. That's his game too, and can use a little bit of a hesitation move, and then even though he doesn't have numbers going his way, he's able to get to the basket. Just a little too much of a roll on that one to get it to roll out.
First foul of the contest on Heckman. Here's Christian Humphrey Rembert going to work and scoring. That's a little bit of what you expect out of that kid. He's got 5, and he brings his team within single digits.
Yeah, I think part of it is maybe just some of his own struggles, but I also think the matchup against Regnerus, who's holding his own in that post area, is making things difficult.
Mann will drive again, swatted by Marshawn Flakes. Mann looking for maybe some contact all the way down the floor. Flakes, no. Follow Rembert, yes, but there was a whistle before the jam. If nothing else, an energy shot on the follow, but it came about a second and a half after a whistle.
That's definitely going to make the highlight reel of baskets that don't count, but that was pretty impressive.
Flakes will go to work at the line. That's foul number 2 on Heckman, 3 on the team. No good. Feels like a moment the Bulldogs have to survive right now. As Stockwell checks out and Highbore comes in, EK has kind of turned the momentum back around after the Bulldogs had seized it away. I mean, that's going to be what this game is going to be like. But final minute here, I think you have to kind of lock down if you're the Bulldogs. Make sure you get into the final frame of the lead. Flakes misses them both. Final minute, here's Tyson Mann. Watched by Flakes. A lot of that full court pressure gone right now for EK. Just some token pressure. Regnerus against Cobbs and Humphrey Rembert. Mann looking for Haight, poked out of bounds by Ardrace Morris. .6 in the third. Grandville by 9, 37-28. Not expecting East Kentwood game to start turning into a first to 40 wins type of game, but right now it's where the Grandville defense has it. Flakes all over Mann, final 40 seconds of the third. Mann for Haight. Haight defended by Morris. Morris sticking with him. Haight picks up the dribble, has to watch out for the 5-second call right here. He gets it to Heckman. Final 25. I think the Bulldogs are trying to take some time off the clock. Down low, Regnerus. Last touched by Morris. Bulldogs keep it. A hassled possession right there. A little bit, I think they're looking to take some time and make sure they were smart with it, but also EK swarming 21.5 in the third.
Yeah, the on-ball pressure there really turned up as we approach the end of the third quarter.
Regnerus up top for Heckman. Both the Bulldog bigs out there. Highbore also the big wing on the floor. Mann harassed by Flakes into the backcourt. They run into each other. Off of Flakes, out of bounds. He goes palms up. Talking back to Coach Young. To Coach Thomas. Quentin Hendrickson will come in for Ryder Haight. 11 seconds to go in the third. 37-28.
Tyson Mann's been working hard just trying to get the basketball. Even at any point he able to get Hatchet into some foul trouble, but gets rewarded with Flakes, who's also a very intense defender.
Down low, hard pass. Regnerus turnovers. He tried to get it to Heckman. Here's Marshawn Flakes with 5 to the basket. Gave it on to Cobbs. He scores. Nathan Cobbs right before the buzzer puts it in, and EK brings it down to 7 and has a little bit of a momentum boost as we head to the final frame. We will be right back for the final 8 minutes.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
and it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, here we go. Final frame. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. 37-30, Grandville over East Kentwood. And this certainly is going to be a terrific finish. Head coaches Desmond Young and Mike Thomas have gotten their boys through 3 quarters. EK gets the ball, and they get a little bit of momentum going to the final frame as well. That last talking point of needing to survive the push for Grandville continues here. The Dogs do stay in the zone as they have been all game long. Drive into the lane, Flakes reverse layup, scores. 10 for Marshawn Flakes, and the Bulldogs lead is down to 5. It was up to as much as 11. Man washed by Flakes. Top on-ball defender for EK, been hounding man all alone. Logan Stockwell, no, can't get the finish. He's had a couple open looks, not quite knocking him down to the final half of this one. Flakes for Christian Humphrey Rembert. Darryl Tompkins Jr., one of a pair of terrific sophomore guards, along with Ja Hatchett, who's on the bench with 4 fouls right now for EK. Deep 3 from Morris. Off the connector, no. Cobbs tries to save it. It bounces into the Bulldogs. And man will kind of slow it down. You have the 5-point lead. Make sure you take your time here if you're the Bulldogs. Get some points, take some time off the clock. I think Coach Stiegel maybe could probably help run the offense right now from what his team tries to do in the fall. Grandville keeps it on the out-of-bounds poke from Morris.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs now, you survived the third quarter, got past the first hurdle, but still trying to avoid some second-half letdowns. Trying to stay strong after you've put together the first 3 quarters here. Now you need to find some offenses. East Kentwood is starting to find an answer there.
Heckman, Stockwell. Stockwell for Regnaris and around. Hendrickson, no-look feed to a trio of black uniforms. Lobbed ahead, Marshawn Flakes, easy 2. EK within a score. Poor mistake and easy points cannot happen for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we'll see if Coach Young here are going to call a timeout. I think that's the right call.
Yep, timeout. Desmond Young, 6:25 in the fourth. EK within a score. Their side fired up. We'll be right back here to Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
All right, welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. All right, Grandville lead down to 3. East Kentwood charging back. Mistakes from the Bulldogs, and East Kentwood starting to execute. Really, they kind of upped the pressure. The Bulldogs started making some mistakes. East Kentwood stopped making as many mistakes. Starting the final kind of 2 minutes of the third. That extends now. I think a great timeout from Coach Young, but they have to keep it going.
Yeah, I think a perfect time for a timeout there to try to reset things a little bit here, try to draw something up, buy yourself a bucket or and set something up defensively. I think the turnovers on the offensive end have allowed the Falcons to get out and run, and then they've been able to avoid the defense, the zone defense that the Bulldogs had been throwing at them.
Hackman for Hendrickson. Morris the defense, Humphrey Rembert there as well. Poked and stolen by a reaching Daryl Tompkins Jr. to the basket, around the defender, no. Follow, Humphrey Rembert, no. Rejected by the rim, ahead to Stockwell. And out of all of that, that's blocked, but he's fouled, and that will send Stockwell to the line. Humphrey Rembert tried the emphatic jam. It doesn't work, and it's going to wind up being chance at the line for Stockwell, who comes and kind of rubbing that elbow. That was a hard foul he took right there from Marshawn Flakes.
Humphrey Rembert's had a couple looks at that, just out of his fingertips. Otherwise, it would have been a huge dunk, but the Bulldogs able to get possession of the basketball and run the other way. Stockwell able to chase down the pass out in front of him enough to get control, and even though the layup didn't go, got fouled from behind.
Free throw good for Stockwell. He's got 8. My one little comment I'd probably make about Humphrey Rembert in terms of his adjustment back to this kind of game coming to West Michigan. You know, he's been at La Lumiere Prep where you play kind of the national tour style of basketball. Searching for highlight dunks, searching for those kind of plays like maybe flies at La Lumiere when you're playing against Bronny James and those teams. It actually may not be the same sort of effect when you're here. And you've seen the way the Bulldogs have ground him very effectively in this one. 39-34 after both went down. Flakes the 3, no. Rebound secured by Cobbs. 3, Ardace Morris, no. Front rim, poked away from Regneris, and finally the foul comes on Marshawn Flakes. And that'll be 3 on him, and that'll be a 1-1 at the line for the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs defense dodging a couple bullets, a couple open threes for the Falcons. Didn't get either one to fall down, and then a strong rebound from Regneris. Of course, so much size and length from Regneris that he's able to get the basketball, and as long as he keeps active and with that pivot foot and able to move the basketball around, it's going to be very difficult for an opposing team and a defense to try to reach in there without committing a foul.
8 points for Cam Regneris in this one, coming off a 13-point performance against Caledonia. Unable to hit the front end, and I mean, like I said, that's the issue he's kind of struggled with his game in the early part of this season, is when he's gotten to the line, he hasn't been overly effective there at the level he needs to probably be, especially because he's going to draw so many fouls. Bulldogs out of that zone, 5.5 to go. They lead by 5. Ardace Morris over for Tompkins Jr., back to Morris. Here's Tompkins. Flakes, Cobbs at the block. For Tompkins, stutters and works. Exit pass, Morris. Morris reaching to nowhere. Grandville, oh, last touch by the Bulldogs. Stays with East Kentwood. 5:05 in the fourth. 39-34. Tipped on its way on its roll out. Coach Thomas coaching his squad up here as they get ready to go to work offensively in the front court. Tompkins Jr. lobs for Christian Humphrey Rembert. Just 5 for Rembert in this one. Flakes around the screen, drives, dishes, Cobbs follow, no on the floater. Man down to the floor, can't secure the possession, rolling with it, Stockwell. Held the ball, alternating possession, Bulldogs. Coach Young asking for the explanation, the Falcons faithful also asking for the explanation. They maybe wanted to travel on the roll right there, or maybe was there a timeout trying to be called? There's a lot going on.
There was a couple bodies falling on the floor, a couple Falcons down, and Stockwell able to jump on and kind of get possession of the basketball on top of the pile, and was rolling over top of them, and a pretty quick jump ball call regardless.
By the way, both Coach Thomas and Coach Clough got teed up in that game Tuesday. Stolen away, Flakes to the basket, scores with the right easily. Marshawn Flakes leading the attack continuously here for EK. He's got 14 points, and EK back within a score, 39-36. Right around the 4.5-minute mark. It's not as much of a pressuring full court attack right now. Man over the timeline to Hendrickson. Hendrickson doubled, tied up, EK ball. Marshawn Flakes doing it all for EK.
Able to get Hendrickson, didn't see Flakes coming from behind him. It was a bit of a delayed double team. Got him trapped up before Hendrickson even saw him coming. He was already in there reaching for the basketball, and it was another jump ball now going to the Falcons.
Ja Hatchett and his 4 fouls back in the game here for Cobbs. So a little bit smaller unit, essentially 4 guards, and then Humphrey Rembert. 5-out offense for EK, going to work against the swinging zone. Flakes stops and kicks. Morris for the tie. No, missed it all. Good late closeout from Stockwell on the floor. Flakes able to rip it away for Ja Hatchett. Tompkins to tie. No. Batted out. Last touched. Stockwell.
Talked about Flakes bringing the intensity, and he's continued to do that all well into the fourth quarter. Hendrickson almost had the initial rebound, but Flakes in there, never giving up, still able to poke it free, and the Falcons going to get the possession back.
Past the halfway mark of the final frame. Grandville leads East Kentwood by 3. Flakes in the lane. Runner will not go. Long fight for the rebound, and the Bulldogs get it out with man. Flakes is just leading the intensity on the floor every time. Here's man with numbers. Regnerus jams, and he put it through the block attempt from Humphrey Rembert. Grandville by 5.
I think Humphrey Rembert might have got a tip of that one just a little bit, but Regnerus the strength to still get it to roll in.
Morris 3, no. Rebound Tyson Mann. 10 points now for Cam Regnerus. Mann beats the pressure, finds Stockwell with 3:19. Here's Mann. Dawgs maybe looking to kill some time and take some air out of the basketball here a little bit. Heckman has a good matchup. He turns, he can't score, he gets the follow. 43-36, final 3 minutes. Bulldogs looking for OK Red Win number 2. Timeout, Coach Thomas. 2:58 in the fourth. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates this city's rich history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS-HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. 2:58, fourth quarter, 43-36. Heck of a game to break out our first video coverage, ACT?
Yeah, sure is.
What a contest and what an answer there these last couple possessions by the Bulldogs, because EK had all the momentum in the game, a couple scores, and maybe one of the moments of the game. In terms of momentum moment, Christian Humphrey Rembert is going for an emphatic block that swings the momentum 10/10ths of the way to his team's side. Instead, Regnerus says no, and with a two-hand near jam through the block attempt, able to get it to go. That's kind of your moment in terms of big momentum play. It was going to go one way or the other, and Regnerus gets it. He's dominating that matchup with CHR. Yeah. There's no other way to put it. You've got a kid with 10 D1 offers in Christian Humphrey Rembert. He's as well touted as any. Cam Regnerus, who I said at the start of the year is going to be a D1 player by the end of the year. A little bit of a statement made, only with 10 points tonight, but the statement nonetheless.
Yeah, he's answered the challenge in a huge matchup, and none bigger than that play right there, able to hold on to the basketball enough to get his shot to still go, and a huge moment. The Bulldogs have been in a bit of danger territory for a little bit, but a big moment there.
Bulldogs have stuck with that zone all game long. They're with it again. Here's Flakes to the corner for Morris. Morris for Tompkins for Hatchett. Hatchett spins and works and will go to the line for 2. They'll get Quinn Hendrickson on the foul, 4th team foul on the Bulldogs, and 4 on Hendrickson. 2:34 in the fourth. Bulldogs have just gone 7 deep into their bench, and they've realistically been 5.5 deep in the second half of play. We've seen a little bit of hate, really none of Highbor, and this has been the team out of that zone that's been getting it done. Hatchett rattles the first. He has 5 now. 2:34 in the final quarter. 43-37 Grandville. Ja Hatchett back to work. 5'10 sophomore. He had 12 points against Rockford. We saw what he could do a year ago, but the 4 fouls kind of hurt him. That was pure. They'll have the pressure on Mann. Runs into Mann. No foul call as Tyson blows over the timeline. And now a push-off offensive foul. And Mann does not like it, and I'm not sure I can blame the young man, and good job by Hendrickson to come and quiet him down, but a lot of contact coming up the floor, and then they'll call the push-off over the timeline. I mean, it's a tough game to call when you start allowing some contact and not allowing other, and that's what it kind of comes down to, and there's this much contact, but at some point, that's a tough call that Mann's going to take right there. Flakes shimmies, fades, cannot score. Here's Mann, run into by Flakes, no foul there. Here's Hendrickson to the timeline. Pressure is getting up. Final 2 minutes. 43-38 Grandville. Hendrickson finds his escape pass to Tyson Mann, poked away by Flakes, out of bounds.
The Bulldogs gonna have to fight through this right now. The Falcons are really being aggressive if they weren't already. Really guarding the ball, bringing the ball pressure, and reaching in right on the borderline of it. It looks like there's a couple fouls that have been uncalled, and they can't get too frustrated. I mean, it is frustrating, but you got to stay strong here in these last couple minutes. Can't afford to have a turnover.
Man for Hendrickson. Granville by 5, a little bit of a shoulder in the face of Hatchett right there. This is about to get very aggressive down the stretch, I think. Man had some space. He made 4 threes in the first half. He's been quiet in the second half. Just 2 points as Mann has been highly focused on by Marshawn Flakes, the best on-ball defender for the Falcons. Here is Cam Regnerus turning his Humphrey Rembert. Nice move and nice finish. Oh, he faked him out and finished. 12 for Cam Regnerus, 45-38.
Huge possession. Took their time, swinging the ball around, finally get a post up for Regnerus, and he makes it count.
Tompkins Jr. drives, dishes, 3, Hatchett. Yes! 9 for Hatchett, timeout. 109, fourth quarter, 45-41. We'll stay with you. Already approaching the final minute. Thanks, of course, to Scott Bates Farms Insurance Agency. Centennial Securities, let's welcome you inside Vanderslice Gymnasium. Whew. Moments both directions there again. It was a 3 for a 2, but Hatchett a really needed 3 there to answer one. Heck of a move from Cam Regnerus. He faked out Humphrey Rembert.
Yeah, Regnerus has been putting the moves on all night long in the post area. He's been dominating on the offensive end, and it's played really well defensively too, holding down the block. But Regnerus, they continue to get him some touches late in the game, and he's making them count. But Hatchett also getting back into the flow of the game. Had been in some foul trouble, but also starting to find his rhythm here in the fourth quarter. And so he got a 4-point lead with about a minute to go, and we've seen some free throw shooting struggles, potentially one of the Achilles heels of this team. So I think you've got a big, they've accomplished a lot to this point in the game, but you've got one more big question mark they got to answer.
All right, here we go. We'll break it out of the timeout. We'll go back to the floor here. Christian Humphrey Rembert taken off the floor. So as they get ready to go on defense, Humphrey Rembert comes off. Cobbs is out there along with Flakes. Rasheed Watkins in the backcourt. Remember the foul trouble, but Ja Hatchett's still out there. Morris also out there. Heckman running the baseline for Hendrickson. Back to Heckman, and then back on to Hendrickson. Skips it to Mann. Still in the backcourt. Got it over and gets it to Stockwell. That was a very risky time up the floor. Hard foul Flakes. 1-1 for Tyson Mann. 4 on Marshawn Flakes. And that definitely takes away his defensive effectiveness with how aggressive he has been, and he is a terrific, aggressive on-ball defender. You look at this team for East Kentwood tonight. Like I said, there's been a little bit of, I won't say laying back necessarily. They're in your face, but Flakes has been the one that really, I think, has led the intensity as Landon Storms will check in along with Christian Humphrey Rembert.
And such a huge part of Flakes' defense, but he's been playing with fire for a little bit. Finally gets the foul call.
Another timeout. 56 seconds on the clock now. So 10 seconds off since we last broke. And the Bulldogs will go to the line, and that's where it's going to become very critical. Now, Tyson, the guy you want at the line for sure, and that's where this game's going to be won or lost. You're up 45-41, so you have that 2-score advantage already. For Grandville, it's going to have to come down to making shots at the charity stripe because they're going to be given some opportunities. If they hit them, they pick up a very big win, what I would say would maybe be the premier win of Coach Young's tenure with the Bulldogs so far with the way the intensity has been tonight. Miss free throws, and you certainly are in the danger zone.
Yeah, definitely a chance to put this one away if they're able to stick true and hit some of their free throw shots. I think that's been the one thing that they've struggled with throughout the early part of this season. But as you said, Tyson Mann, one of the guys you want at the free throw line if you're sending someone.
And he missed it on cue. Ja Hatchett the ball. Final 52. Blocked out of bounds by Heckman. I don't believe in the announcer's curse, except for when you say something.
Yeah.
It's solely just you. 50.4 fourth quarter, 45-41. Morris to lob for Hatchet. Bulldogs in that 2-3 zone. Landon Storms, terrific shooter, the sophomore. Drive from Hatchet for Humphrey Rembert. Here's Morris. He'll trigger the triple. He'll miss it, and the rebound goes to man. Poked by Marshawn Flakes to keep the possession alive. Morris gets another chance. He can't knock that one down. Rebound to Regnerus, who immediately kicks it on to man. He'll reach for Heckman. Heckman over the timeline to Hendrickson. On to Stockwell. Lobs it for Regnerus, who touches it home. 47-41. Storms corner three. No. Rebound Regnerus. Fouled. I think they know it, CT.
I think they're starting to realize what's going on here.
What a game. Regnerus at the line. The Bulldogs lead by 6. By the way, that was foul number 5 on Ja Hatchet. Free throw, yes. 15 for Cam. I don't know how we're going to choose Centennial Security's player of the game. New leading scorer for the Bulldogs, E.K. Faithful heading to the exits. Airballs the second, a little bit of a smirk for Cam. 8.1. So Grandville set to go 5-3 overall in the year. They'll go to 2-1 in the OK Red. A big win against East Kentwood. Pull-up shot, misses. Rebound, Stockwell, that'll do it. I'll call it the premier win for Coach Young in his brief year-and-a-half tenure here with Grandville. A community driving type win and a fun win for the Bulldogs. They find a way to fight off one of the most talented teams in West Michigan with one of the most accomplished coaches in the state of Michigan. The Dogs are 2-1, and they will find themselves, depending on what happens around the rest of the area, right back at the top of the OK Red. Welcome into the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency post-game show. How about that one, Chandler? Bulldogs by 7.
Yeah, big on so many fronts for the Bulldogs after having some late game struggles against Caledonia, able to hold on here. There were some moments of danger a little bit for them, but able to answer that call and hold on to a game, play the complete game from start to finish. I mean, East Kentwood team that's fresh off of a huge comeback, so they're no stranger to a big second half push as well. So I think kind of answered some of those questions, but also that that this team has the potential to beat some of the best teams in the area. I mean, when you're looking at individual talent across the team and a team that has depth, East Kentwood right at the top of that, and they just beat them for a full 4-quarter game.
I told you before the game, right? I told you at halftime too. If Grandville hangs on and wins this thing, I'm going to probably start sounding the bell and pushing the Grandville hype train. We were kind of waiting for that first big OK Red win. You know, West Ottawa was down, and that was kind of a little bit of a blown game. Blow a game. I mean, no other way to put it. I'm sure that's how the guys would put it too against Caledonia. All of a sudden now, things really starting to get a little bit more interesting where this team's at to beat an East Kentwood team that had picked up a couple premier wins of their own. Now it's Hudsonville who's unbeaten going into tonight, coming in on Tuesday. We'll have coverage right here, video coverage again. Whew. That was a fun night. We got a lot more to get to here on the Bates Agency post-game show. We'll go through some scoring, and we'll try to hand out a Centennial Securities player of the game. I don't quite know who's going to get it as of yet. We'll be right back here on MGN.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, Isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
And welcome back, Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer, and welcome in to Vanderslice Gymnasium. 48-41, Grandville to win the Bulldogs. Now 5-3 on the season. They go to 2-1 in the OK Red, and EK falls to 5-2 overall on the year. There have only been 2 teams in the state of Michigan to beat East Kentwood. East Kentwood's played a fairly tough schedule. Early on they played some good teams. The other team, Brother Rice, probably the best team in the state of Michigan. So Brother Rice and Granville both can claim that win. That is how impressive this win was here tonight. All right, CT, let's go through some scoring from this game first.
All right, on the Falcons side, their leading scorer, 14 points for Flakes, and Hatchett with 9, 6 for Tompkins Jr., 5 for Humphrey Rembert, and then 3 for Morris, 2 for Harris and Cobbs. On the Bulldogs side, leading all scorers, Cam Regneris, 15 points, Tyson Mann with 14, 9 for Stockwell, 6 for Heckman, and then 2 for both Hendrickson and Haight.
All right, what a game it was. And all right, well, now we got to try to do it. Centennial Security's player of the game. We're going to get a little creative. Let's go with the first half and the second half. Centennial Security's player of the game. For the first half, you go to Tyson Mann. He had 4 threes, 12 points. Second half, Cam Regneris really closed the game down at the end with big plays on both ends of the floor. I don't know how else to put it, because those two need a co-decision, and also maybe also coach of the game for the 2-3 zone for Coach Young. So I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, no, I think I like what you suggested in the first half player of the game and second half player of the game. I think Tyson Mann did a tremendous job setting the tone early on, responding after some struggles of his own in the previous game, able to hit a couple threes early, got the scoring started for the Bulldogs, and really got things going for them early. And then in the second half, Cam Regneris taking over that matchup against Humphrey Rembert, able to really establish himself in the lane and in the post area, and making some big plays down the stretch. Had 9 of his 15 in the second half, and 7 of those in the fourth quarter. So when the Bulldogs really needed some points and they were in that danger territory, he was stepping up.
What a fantastic game. What a fantastic night of basketball. EK girls win game 1, but the Grandville boys, in a game that I think a lot of people are going to talk about for the rest of the season, win a really, really fun one tonight, 48-41 in that one. All right, what a night it was. We're back on the air Tuesday. We'll be right here with video coverage again as Grandville takes on Hudsonville. There is no rest for the weary in the OK Red, and really back-to-back it gets really tough, and that will be another incredible game. The only thing I wish is that it was Hudsonville on a Friday night this year, because that would be really, really special if it were again. But I feel like even on Tuesday night, it's going to be a ton of fun. All right, for Chandler Timmer, everyone at Michigan Game Night, Michigan Sports Radio, I am Nate Dreyer signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Bulldogs, boys, win a thriller and a really fun one to close out the evening and earn a split of the evening. Can't wait till these two teams, by the way, play again at the end of the year at EK. We'll see everyone next time.